Start the stream. Started the stream.
I'm aware that it's because of me, but shut up your face.
Shut up a you face.
Shut up
your
face.
Shut up
specifically.
you face. Welcome to the YouTube preamble, everybody. It's that point where we test the settings. Also, I scheduled today's thing, and we're just going to test to see that the link works. I don't actually have to go through the effort of posting it.
Shut up your face.
Shut up you face.
Shut up.
Shut up your face.
It does open to it. Neat.
You can hear us.
Good to know. You can
hear us.
Hear us.
You can hear
us. Excellent.
Hear us.
Hear us. You can. Hear us. I'm stalling as I open up my timer to start the show.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear the people singing
Can
the
you
songs
hear?
of Angry Man?
Can you hear what's happening? And they don't have a clue.
Who?
They fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our trio's down to 2.
Oh.
The sweet caress of twilight. There's magic in the air.
And with all this romantic... This is bad. This is bad. We need to stop. What are we even doing? Why are we doing this? Disasters in the air. We can't both be Timon, Jordan. We can't both be Timon.
I started as him. I'll finish it.
This is going to be a weird show. In 3, 2, 1... This podcast is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon. Please head to artemedia.org to see plenty of podcasts from our great friends. And if you would like to start your own podcast, they can provide you with the tools and resources to do so there. That is artemedia.org. A-R-E-T-E media.org. And we're going to talk about that later today, so stick around if you want to hear more about that fun website. But in the meantime, Welcome to the Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. I am, we is, we be, we are, we be them be us. We are the Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. I'm Justin Spurr. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the incomparable Jordan, everybody.
It's true. I am without compare.
He cannot compare to him. And on today's show, it is the first show of the new year, and as such, there is not a ton of news. So our news selection is relatively light, but we do got a bit of news, and we're gonna find fun spin on it to maybe try to push it to the 30-minute mark. But Andrew Garfield apparently might be playing Jesus.
Wait, what?
They got to talk about that. He talked about Spider-Man 4. The Fantastic Four are coming to Marvel Rivals, so I figured we'd play a fun game of who should they add to Marvel Rivals. Jason Momoa is Lobo, and then something about Jurassic World. Let's hop into the news, Jordan.
Okay. I'm down.
You're not going to do the... So you know what's really funny about the news theme? Is no one really actually knows what it sounds like except for me, because every time you do it, you peek the hell out of your mic, and no one hears a thing. It's
That's
funny.
Part of the fun.
It's funny every time. So Jordan, I feel like we're going to start off with the creator of Invincible. He has said his ideal number of seasons he would like to do for the show, and I'm stalling as I.
Is it 7?
Wow, that's a pretty spot on number. He does. He said 7, maybe 10. And I know initially we were balking and dismissive, being like, they'll come out in 2035. But I will say, season 3 has come out relatively quick. Credit where credit is due.
I haven't watched Invisible in a while. I think I watched the first half. And then I don't know if I did the second half.
I'm pretty sure you did. I thought you did.
I actually don't remember.
The trailer for season 3 looks pretty good. I thoroughly enjoy this show. I like it because it's like it's not as, because Jordan, for those who don't know, why would anyone know? Jordan's been watching The Boys, and I like Invincible because it's an alternative take on superheroes that's a bit more gritty, a bit more R-rated, but like isn't bleak like The Boys is.
Isn't cynical like The
Yeah, or
Boys is.
that's an even better way to put it. It's not cynical like The Boys is. I
Because
enjoy
the boys definitely feel cynical.
that is definitely, yeah, I would agree with that characterization. My thing with Invincible, yeah, I like it because it's not DC. It's not like dark, or it's not quite DC. It's not quite Marvel. It exists in its own little, and it's got enough. I think it's a 120 comic run. I've read like the first, I think, 10 issues of it. It's pretty good. I like the show better, but it's pretty good.
I've never read the comics, but I do know that there's definitely things in the comics that they don't do in the show, like when he goes across the multiverse and runs into Spider-Man, not a knockoff Spider-Man.
Knockoff Spider-Man. Hey,
Actually Spider-Man.
he's voiced by Spider-Man, so you know.
Yeah, it's not the same, and you know it.
It's voiced by. There's actually really cool. Someone did an animation on YouTube where they reanimated it with Spider-Man. That looks really cool.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you later. It's really cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean that bit in that episode. No, I think you did that, because that's from the back half. That's from I think the season finale. I'm pretty sure.
No, I just know that that's a thing because I've seen that clip on YouTube.
Oh, fair, yeah. That takes place over, I think, several issues, and he goes to several different universes, and yeah, that's I think an entire issue, and he's there for like a little while.
Yeah, because I seem to remember there being a thing where it's basically like there's a part of that in the story where he goes to what is essentially the DC world.
Yeah.
Or like it's supposed to be the DC
It's
world.
implied
And
that it's Batman, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, so Invincible like is the connecting bridge between Marvel and DC because he met both.
I think that's pretty neat.
Characters.
It's also that section, yeah, in the show kind of hints at it, but it's supposed to be taken over a while. That's what he's sort of losing his mind. He's like, I don't know where I am or when I am. Is because in the comics it's made clear that takes place over like a while.
Yeah, and he gets up to a lot.
But there's some neat shit that I know about the comics. I don't know. I mean, we always go with spoilers for the audience. But Jordan, do you care if I spoil it?
I mean, a little bit, but I also don't expect that I will remember by the time it ever actually rolls
Fair
around.
enough. Not the next section, but I think it's like the section after that. It was basically, it goes full multiverse, and there's an Invincible war where a bunch of evil Invincibles all fight each other.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
And there's a bunch of heel turns and stuff that I'm interested to find out how that gets there. But
Fair enough.
They're doing a decent job of getting it out now. And this season now, no mid-season break.
Good. Learn the lesson. Be better.
Lesson. Be better. Yeah. So Andrew Garfield, Jordan, he has opened up on his potential Spider-Man 4 appearance. And Jordan, obviously, we both know he didn't confirm shit. So we're gonna play a game of what do you think he said?
I think he said that if the right script came across him, he would be receptive to the idea. He feels honored that the audience and the fans so strongly want him to do another one. He loves being Spider-Man. It's a character that he always really enjoyed playing. Something to that effect.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, more or less. He says, yeah, if something came up and he believed in it with all his soul, he'd be interested, but as of right now, no. But he joked that after what he did in No Way Home, no one will believe him ever.
He's not wrong.
He is not wrong.
So I was pretty spot on.
Really?
Hey?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, pretty spot on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you nailed it. So I'm reading the next story about Andrew Garfield, which is the one I did in the opening, which is that he's being eyed to play Jesus in which I think is funny, because I was reading the article as I was just there for a second. Apparently he made The Last Temptation of Christ, which I've seen like multiple Scorsese films, and I'm going to be talking about one today, and those movies make me go, really? But yeah, apparently.
Like, is it like Jesus as a carpenter? Like, what's the context here?
I assume it's the wizard man Jesus. Ooh, that's probably offensive.
The magic power Jesus.
Magic power Jesus, yeah. Well, white Jesus.
Superhero.
Yeah,
Jesus.
white Jesus. Yeah.
Same thing.
If Andrew Garfield's being to play him, yeah, it's the white guy with the beard. That's who they're doing. But it's Scorsese. I've never seen The Last Temptation of Christ, so I have no idea what Scorsese's relationship to Jesus is. Because I'm always interested in the one where it's like Jesus, but he's just a guy. Like, I'd love to see that movie. That's the movie I'm interested in. Magic Man Jesus he's a well-established version of the character.
He has a lot of lore.
He has a lot of lore already. So yeah, there's a trailer that came out, Jordan. Lore. He's got a pretty thick lore. You can go read it anywhere.
It's called the Bible.
It's called the Bible. Go read the Bible, kids.
Yeah.
And clip that out of context.
You two are gonna go and read the Bible.
Read that joke appeals to a very specific set of people who I doubt watch our shit. So a fun fact about our audience. I looked at our subscribers, and a lot of adults watch us. A surprising amount of adults watch us.
I mean, what do you describe as an adult? I'm technically an adult.
Like people in like their late 20s to early 30s.
Okay. Yeah? Is that not who we're trying to appeal to?
I mean, no, but you made a reference for like 10-year-olds.
Did I?
Is it? What would you say their demographic is?
I mean, what their demographic is, or what they want their demographic to be? Because those are two different questions.
Here's okay. I'm gonna answer your question, and I'm gonna say one thing. We're not gonna say who we're talking about, and both.
Okay,
you guys can guess based on the reference Jordan just made if you're familiar with it.
I would say their main channel, their audience range is probably 12 to 15-year-old. Who they want their audience to be is like 25 to 30.
For sure. Their audience used to be like 16-year-olds, and they want it to be like people in their mid-20s.
And their secondary channels, where it's more based on personality, I would say that is meant for our age. Their age.
No, okay, fair enough. You are far kinder to them than I was expecting. Who them is, you can go salute that out yourself. Or leave it in the comments if you want to guess who you think we're talking about.
But that would be I mean, do you disagree?
I absolutely do not disagree. Actually, I do completely agree with that. I think they want to. I think they used to back in the day. Like they very much skewed like for 13-year-olds, but no, I think they want to be for 20-year-olds. They want to be respected as like an SNL style comedy brand, and I think they're a tad too sophomoric for that.
Yeah,
but
interesting.
But
anyway,
that's
a wild tangent.
It's us taking a wild swing at a massive YouTuber who will never see us.
And I mean, even if they did, they'd have to figure out who we're talking about first.
I mean, that is true.
We spoke in code. We definitely weren't talking about one of the most famous YouTuber groups that have been on YouTube for a long time.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Since we've begun talking about this, I actually forgot the reference you made in the first place.
Yeah, me too.
Moving on. Marvel Rivals. They revealed a trailer for the Fantastic Four. Guys coming to Marvel Rivals, and I like that game. I think that game's kind of fun.
Yeah, I do too, but I only ever end up doing like a match or two, and then I kind of get bored.
Right.
I feel like it's fun with friends.
Yeah, it'd be very fun with friends.
I don't have any, so
no. We also don't have 2 PlayStation 5s.
No, yeah, I mean, yes, that's true. You are my one friend.
Although I suppose if we got a really good computer, we could crossplay.
That's true. That is a true statement. I like the characters they have in there. Do they have Dr. Doom?
No, not yet. No, I don't think so. Anyway,
because if they're adding the Fantastic Four, you would think that they would also do Doom.
I suspect either they're waiting or they're gonna do it. They're probably waiting till that movie comes out or wherever Robert Downey Jr. as Doom comes out, so they can get a Robert Downey Jr. patch, or it can look like Robert Downey Jr. Or they can give Iron Man a Dr. Doom like a Dr. Doom skin.
Probably because a lot of the characters have ones related to their movies.
That's what I'm saying.
As for what other characters that I would want in there,
Yeah, what other characters would we
um,
put in there? Should we put in there?
so
There's some
this feels
surprisingly
like
deep cuts in there right now.
this is gonna feel like a cheap answer because there's already two versions which are basically this. I want Carnage,
Okay, yeah, I mean, fair enough.
and his power set would be like turning his symbiote into
Yeah.
like weapons and axes and swords
And
and stuff.
projectiles and stuff. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's a fun choice. And I mean, yeah, they already
Um,
have Venom in there. It just kind of makes sense.
So I want that's a big one that I want.
I appreciated that
Um,
Venom and Spider-Man felt completely different. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I really
that's a
enjoyed
nice
that.
touch. Um, what other ones?
I kind of want...
I don't think I don't think Daredevil's in there, and I think Daredevil could be cool if you made it where when you play as him, the screen looks different.
that'd be kind of fun.
And so like maybe his power is like he listens and he can see through walls.
I'm just like, Spider-Man is underrepresented, so I'm like, a few Doc Ock would be fun, or Mysterio
Oh,
as,
yeah.
or as a support class.
Mysterio as a support class could be cool, and then you could have it where he summons illusions that are basically look like it. You could basically he could be similar to Loki, how Loki
Yeah,
plays.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, those are villains. For heroes, who would I add for heroes?
They've got a lot in there, so it's
got a
hard to
lot
think of
in
new
there.
ones.
I know. All the fun ones are villains. Daredevil's a good choice.
I mean, one which I don't exactly know how this would play, but I think it could be an interesting one is Professor Xavier in the chair.
Oh yeah, X-Men. Cyclops. Cyclops could be pretty fun.
Yeah,
Could be pretty
yeah,
fun.
that's another good one.
Storm's another one.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler would be very fun. Yeah, all sorts of action. Deadpool.
Teleportation.
What am I doing? Deadpool. Get Deadpool in there. Why isn't Deadpool in there?
Who else?
In fact, I'm surprised there hasn't been a Deadpool DLC pack.
I mean, it's still a fairly new game, so
I
give him
think,
time.
I mean, it's hard to kill Overwatch. For whatever reason, Blizzard, they make their games and they're hard to kill. But I think it's fun, and IP does a lot of heavy lifting.
I don't think. I think didn't Blizzard just buy the rights to Overwatch? They didn't start Overwatch.
I thought they did start. I thought Overwatch was them.
I'm pretty sure they were part of the like when they did the host. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on, let's find out. I just
Having
for
only
whatever
ever played
reason-
Overwatch like once, I think. I don't even know if I've ever played that game.
I played it like once. Oh yeah, it was by Blizzard. Okay, I don't know why I thought it wasn't.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was Blizzard.
There's a lot of characters that I'd like to see added. I'm just struggling to think of their names at the moment.
Yeah,
We've listed a few. I mean, it could be interesting to have like different variations of the Hulk.
She-Hulk would be
like,
kind of fun.
She-Hulk, Red Hulk,
Red Hulk, yeah, that'd also be kind of fun.
his children, Scar.
Oh yeah, Scar, yeah, those are good ones.
Who else?
Captain Marvel, I guess.
Captain Marvel. I'm struggling. Like I said, they've got a lot of the big name ones there already. Like they've got Storm.
Is Storm already in it?
Yeah, I believe she is.
Oh yeah. I only played it once.
They've got Magneto. Although he's not the Magneto I necessarily know. His outfit looks a little different. But
Yeah, I didn't enjoy Magneto so much. He was not super fun. I really like the Hulk. I like the gimmick that he can change. He changes in between Hulk and Bruce Banner. Makes Bruce Banner feel like he's part of the gameplay. It's fun.
Yeah, I that's something that I definitely
I like how he's a little scrappy guy zipping about. Yeah, I didn't get to the point where I actually played against people. I just played against NPCs for a bit. I might actually go back and play that a bit more.
I don't think they have Gamora.
Gamora would be fun. Star-Lord is fun. I did enjoy Star-Lord.
I didn't try him. I haven't tried all the characters. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I haven't tried all of them. I tried all the ones I wanted to.
So they've got the little shark guy, and one that I want, who I feel like could be like him. I want Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck, that would be fun. He would be very fun.
Have him be a support class.
God, people are not happy with Howard the Duck though right now. I stand by it, even what if weirdness notwithstanding.
Another one that they could add, which maybe she's already in there and I just didn't see, is Jean Grey as the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that's also fun. Anyway, that game's fun. Moving on. What if? Speaking of Marvel, let's do what if. The guy showrunner of What If basically suggested that this might not be the end. He said this is the end for now. They told him it was the end at the big head ups, and that they could potentially do more, which tells me that a variation of this post whatever Secret Wars is might come, which I think it should, but I think it should be like what we said and have it where it's an anthology and it's every episode is done by a different animator and they do like a 6-episode miniseries.
I mean, I'd be down for that. Certainly, if they wanted to do an overarching story, I want it to be better. I
Right.
want them to be better at doing it. But no, it works better if each episode is like a 45-minute, differently animated,
Right?
different what if story, and don't limit yourself to just being like what's happening in the MCU. Just do a what if show.
Right?
Like Marvel, like the Marvel animation and stuff. I'm pretty sure as long as it's not like based around the movie stuff, they're allowed to do whatever they want.
Pretty
with,
much.
Like with any of the characters. Just make a what if show.
Right?
An animated what if show that's just it can be based around the comics. I'd be okay with that.
Right?
Like plenty of people would be okay with
But-
Marvel things coming out that aren't just attached to the MCU.
But the masses, the spoon-fed masses, need the MCU attachment to be familiar with it. At least that's what a upper executive would tell you.
Fuck them.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but they have the money. So
Yeah, well,
what are you
again,
gonna do?
I look to you and I say, fuck them.
I mean, you might have to if you want the money.
I would.
All right, that's kind of weird. Anyway, in movie news that isn't really news, but everyone's acting surprised by it for some reason. News. They finally confirmed that Jason Momoa will indeed play Lobo in the DCU.
That just makes sense.
Right? He's gonna be in the new Supergirl movie, which just kind of makes me excited for the new Supergirl movie.
Like, there's not a lot of times that I hear a casting choice and I'm like, that's just the most logical thing you could do. But that's just the most logical thing you could do.
My God, that's just the most logical thing I've ever heard in my life.
It just makes nothing but sense.
It couldn't get more logical than that, right? You're like, yeah, that just makes sense.
I look at him and I really do just think that makes sense. He is Lobo.
He's just Lobo. Like, he's one of those castings, like, like Hugh Jackman with Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, where you're like, it just fits. It just fits.
It just fits.
It does make
the budget will balance
itself. That's a Canadian politics joke for you guys. Today's been a very strange episode.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I think just more and more.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it. More and more, I'm just more excited about this DCU than I am for anything coming out of Marvel right now. I'm like, you know what?
Interested.
I'm interested. I'm looking over the fence. I'm like, what do we got going on? Oh, they invited Jim to the party. Oh, Jim's a fun guy. Maybe we'll go to their party instead.
We like Jim. Jim is nice.
Jim is nice. Speaking of Jim, in episode 6 of Creature Commandos, the first official show in the DCU, we have officially seen Batman.
I heard that we had seen Batman and read nothing further into it because I want to experience it mostly naturally.
I mean, he's all he really appears is he appears as a shadow. He's a bulky guy. You don't really see him. And that's it. That's all we see.
But he is, in fact, Batman.
Yes, and James Gunn has said very specifically, much like Superman, and hey, I am all down for this. We don't need the origin story. We can just understand that he exists in this universe, and that's fine. And that's what he's going with. And that just once again leads into our to our spur of the moment endorsement of Jensen Ackles for Batman.
Hashtag the Ackles.
Hence, hashtag bat that Ackles. Bat Ackles. Bat.
Backles.
Backles. Bat
Backles.
Ackles. Backles.
Backles.
Hashtag Backles. No, it's not feeling good. That sounds like a boil you have on your back. Ooh, I've got backles.
Backles.
Backles. You've got backles. Sounds squishy.
Backles.
Backles. What are we doing, Jordan? What is happening? What is happening today?
Rails? Who needs those?
Who needs the rails? Who needs rails? We're not vamping. Who's vamping? Jordan, the Jurassic World.
I don't know the meaning of the word.
I don't know what that is. Jurassic World Rebirth writer. Apparently, the Jurassic World Rebirth, the new Jurassic World movie, will abide by 3 rules. Rule number 1. Right. 9 rules or commandments that the new film must abide by. Number 1 was, the events of the previous 6 movies cannot be denied or contradicted because I hate retcons. The second rule.
So this is a continuation. This is a sequel.
This is a sequel. Second rule is that all science must be real. And the third one is humor is oxygen. And the other 6 rules will not be revealed until the movie comes out because they contain spoilers.
Okay. Did we really need another sequel? Could we not, reboot? Could we not reboot?
Right? Let's reboot.
Let's reboot.
Let's reboot.
Wipe the slate clean.
Gotta reboot.
You know?
Right?
And then you can have a park where it's not just dinosaurs, but it's saber-toothed tigers and mammoths and the chaos factor is bringing all these creatures that never existed together all together, and it's fresh and it's interesting.
I mean, I do want that, but on the other hand, I do kind of want the movie where it's dinosaurs, but they also have lasers. They've militarized the dinosaurs, and they've attached lasers to them, and now they have lasers.
I mean, I just would like a movie where they tried to make Jurassic Park, and then we get the Jurassic Raptor, the raptor, which rides up on the humans, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to eat you now."
See, Jordan, what I want is.
And they can just talk for no reason. They never explain why they can talk, but they can talk, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." And it's a comedy.
I want the one where it's they've got the mammals together, and they've decided to breed them together now, and then there's a horrible Cronenbergian nightmare. There's like, get over.
See. Mine sounds like it could happen and is fun. Yours sounds like an abomination.
Yours sounds like an absolute nightmare.
Just a gross abomination.
It would be gross. That'd be the bit, Jordan. We'd be doing The Substance or The Fly, but with Jurassic Park animals. Tell me how you really feel.
Oh no, that sounds disgusting. No, it's a hard pass for me. Take your shit and get out.
Huh? Interesting. So, the Masters, they're making a Masters of the Universe movie. We talked about before. That's the one where Jared Leto is Skeletor. It's being directed by Travis Knight.
The Masters of the Universe.
That's it. That's a different. That's Flash Gordon. That's Flash Gordon.
Aren't they the same thing? They're the Masters of the Universe.
No, they're not the same thing.
I'm pretty sure that
Masters of the Universe is He-Man.
Oh,
that's He-Man.
I got the power.
Apparently, this movie, Jordan, is going to be different than the cartoon, which just feels like code for I'm not wearing the Speedo.
It's gonna be bad.
No, Jordan. They're changing the costume. He's not wearing the Speedo. I guarantee you that's what that means. I'm not wearing the underwear. I will wear pants. Unless He-Man wears pants. I'm pretty sure He-Man doesn't wear pants. That's the question of the episode. Does He-Man wear pants?
I just know that he has the sword, and he says, "I have the power," and there's the Skeletor.
Right?
That's all.
And he says the funny memes.
All of the funny memes.
He says the funny memes. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Prince Adam, he is wearing pants, And then he goes, I am the power! And then He-Man is not wearing pants. I'm pretty sure.
All I know is, yeah, hey, hey.
That's
I say, hey, what's going on?
Anyway.
And I try.
Oh my god, do I try? That's enough of that. That's enough of the singing. And then finally, Jordan, this story isn't really a story, but it popped up in like my Google recommended feed, and it clearly popped up in Jordan's Google recommended feed as well because he sent it to me, and it was the Simpsons showrunner addressing the Simpsons show ending, and he addresses it as a show that isn't meant to end. That you can never end it. You basically just stop it, and you don't do a sappy finale. And as me and Jordan discussed off air, that is an incorrect opinion. It is wrong.
Yeah, no, it can absolutely have an ending. It has had multiple endings, and perhaps should have used one of them when it had the chance.
It's the kind of show that The Simpsons is an institution. You have to give it. It would be, in my opinion, disrespectful to not give it a sentimental, sappy ending. It's just sometimes you have to break the universe a bit to like acknowledge that this thing is decades old, and you're ending like decades of, you're ending a thing that's been a part of people's lives forever. It would be like if Sesame Street had a series finale. Like you have to go out. You have to like give it.
You have to do something.
Do something to acknowledge that this is it. This is the end. Otherwise, it feels kind of hollow.
I agree.
What was it all for? So yes, his opinion is Jordan. What is it?
Wrong.
It's wrong. It's incorrect. It is an incorrect opinion. It is the
It's
wrong
bad.
opinion. It is a bad opinion.
It's bad, and he should feel bad for having it.
You should feel bad for having that incorrect opinion guy who's making The Simpsons. Anyway, that's the end of the news. There wasn't much news. We really stretched out those 6 news stories, Jordan. Most of which wasn't really news. It was people's opinions on stuff. And us talking about a particularly big YouTuber that we didn't say the name of. Winky face.
Should we give them a clue?
No. It's more fun if we don't. So it's the sponsorship section. I realized like earlier this week, I was like, we say this show is brought to you by Arate Media Pantheon, but we never talk about the Arate Media Pantheon, and we have chosen the most off the rails episode to do so. But
have we?
I feel like we have. Does it not feel like we have?
I more meant one of us picked it. I have no idea. For me, it's always a roulette. Which one's he going to talk about this time?
We the royal we the show. Yes. Today's episode is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon, as every episode is. The Arte Media Pantheon on artemedia.org, ARETEE media.org. It's a collection of like-minded individuals with differing opinions on various topics, uniting together to bring you an entertainment and media platform that we feel contains some of the best and most interesting podcasts that we could possibly offer, with such diverse topics as...
There's like a part of your Broadway world one for people who like Broadway. There's Goosebumps. There's Jake's like 17,000 podcasts.
He's got a professional wrestling podcast. I do a Star Trek podcast with him. If you like politics, he's got a politics podcast. There's all sorts of podcasts. There's if you want to learn how to start a business, there's a podcast how to do that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to get started in Hollywood, there's a great podcast for that. And it's all on artemedia.org. And this
we're
really,
there too.
We're also there. We're also on artemedia.org. All sorts of great podcasts there. And also, we mentioned it every episode as well. It's thanks to them and their tips and tricks and advice. They've got a really helpful playlist of YouTube videos to literally teach you how to do this. It's so easy. It's so easy to do this. And like for me, all the most intimidating parts of doing this was all the back end stuff. Where do you post it? What do you put it on? What do you use to make it? Like it's all that nitty gritty stuff like that.
How do you
And-
corral your podcast partner to do things?
How to make
It's all right there.
how to make a logo, like whether to go live like we do or record it. There's benefits to both. There's drawbacks to both. All sorts of great tips and tricks. I learned how to use CapCut and how to make YouTube shorts from this. It's really, really, really useful information to have. Also, we're just a great bunch of guys and gals. We're fun to come hang out with. We have fun. We have fun making this, and it's a good time. Highly entertaining. And I will say, the benefits of being on the website. We currently have a video about Charlie Chaplin that I feel otherwise probably wouldn't do that well. That's currently on the front page of the website, and we jumped up to like 50 views this morning.
Nice.
So go check out RT Media. The link is always in the description. This week it's in the description twice. It's the start of the year. You'll see them around a bunch. One of them, all of them, most of them. Usually Jake. Sometimes Haley. The other guys are invited.
Jordan.
And that's the important part I want to say. If you want to start your own podcast, but you're like nervous about being on camera or speaking in front of a microphone, we're nice, easy beginner step. Come on our show and come hang out for an afternoon. See if it's something you want to do. We'll get you comfortable with being on camera, on microphone. We'll help you out with that. But come hang out with us. I have a Google document you can fill out to let me know if you want to be on the show. That's it. That's the end of the sponsorship section. So I wanted to turn it into a yearly tradition, but as we discovered this week, that is not going to happen. But we, being that this is the beginning of the year, it's the start of a new year, figured go to the place that we started the year we were born. And so we did that last year. The first year back of the year, we went to the year we were born. So it was like, let's do it again. Turns out it was very difficult to select stuff because all the stuff that came out this year was like, nah. A lot of the stuff in 1990 are cop dramas. Surprising amount of cop dramas.
Yeah, mine was just stuff where I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that either. I want to have some have scenes in there, and I just haven't seen most of these.
Right,
which,
same.
I mean, not a bad thing. It just made things tricky.
Right? No, I was like, yeah. So yeah, the years. So the year we was born. I was born in the good old year of 1990. That's how old Justin is. Jordan, what year were you born?
91 is when I was
91.
born. As an aside, my YouTube is not wanting to currently work.
Okay. I shall open it on mine. Turn down the volume though.
It booted me out, and then now it's not loading anything for me.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna try. You keep talking. I'm gonna try and close it and reopen it.
All right, I'm in it now. So with that, yeah, Jordan Stewart has 1991. Jordan, would you like me to go first then?
Sure.
No. Okay, so my first thing. Jordan figures out his tech issues. My first thing from the year 1990 is a movie called Jacob's Ladder, starring Tim Robbins. Jordan, this is going to be a game for you this week. Have you seen Jacob's Ladder? Are you familiar with Jacob's Ladder?
I know the name, but I've never seen it.
I have a memory of watching it with you once, but I don't know if that's a false memory. I definitely know I've seen it because a manager at an old job of mine recommended it to me. And there's one joke I make about it, which is that there's a scene where Santa Claus steals his wallet, and I'm like, Santa Claus stole that guy's wallet! And then,
I think he just took his wallet.
And then there's a scene he's in the hospital. He's like, I lost my wallet. Santa Claus stole it. And he sounds like he's insane. But Jacob's Ladder, very, very, very briefly, is about a Vietnam War vet who is having flashbacks to this time in the Vietnam War. He's come back. He's trying to adjust to regular life, and he's having these hallucinations, and he's seeing things. And he's having these flashbacks. And it's for most of the movie, I'm gonna spoil it because I surmise you won't remember this or you won't watch it. It's a very old movie anyway. Um,
I mean, fair enough.
but you keep seeing these flashbacks to Vietnam of him being attacked, him under fire, him like bleeding, him dying, and throughout the movie, he keeps having these hallucinations, and he runs into the people in his squad who are all having similar hallucinations, and it looks like it's this political thriller about him basically they were drugged. You find out that they were drugged to given these drugs that make them ultra aggressive, so that and then set on the Kong, but instead they all attacked each other and all killed each other. And it looks like it's this government conspiracy to cover it up. And you find out that he's actually been dying the whole time, and the whole movie has basically been his like subconscious slowly dying in Vietnam, and he never left Vietnam.
Interesting.
So
it's so basically it's like the last 10 seconds of his life,
all flashing,
bleeding out.
Yeah, basically, and it's his brain because the whole. I think I sent you a clip of it where I was like, "Surprise, Macaulay Culkin."
Yeah, I never watched the full clip.
That's basically just me being like, "Surprise, Macaulay Culkin," and Macaulay Culkin plays his young son who died, and he's basically like reconciling with his death. And the movie kind of hints at the fact that it might be him deciding whether or not to go to heaven or hell, because in the sort of fantasy, he's dating this woman from the post office whose name is Jezebel, and he keeps seeing like demons and stuff, and he's got this chiropractor who keeps like rescuing him and like massaging him and like cracking his back and like saving his life or whatever. And throughout the movie, people keep telling him that he's dead. Like at one point, this fortune teller reads his palm and literally tells him he's dead. At another point, he goes to this hospital. He winds up in this mental hospital where they keep telling him he's dead, and they all look like demonic and stuff. And the chiropractor like comes in and like rescues him, and it's implied like he's an angel. But it's kind of one of those movies where it's sort of ambiguous as to whether or not he's hallucinating, or whether or not these are like demons, or whether or not it's just his brain dying. And the twist is really good. Like I've given it away, and I've done a really poor job of explaining it, but it doesn't telegraph it at all. It legit looks like it's a political conspiracy thriller for like a good portion of it. Like it has a supernatural vibe, but I wouldn't describe it as inherently supernatural. Like there's a lot of every sort of hallucination that he has is all perfectly explainable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you would say it's a good movie?
Good movie. Yeah, good movie. Worth checking out. It is on, I believe, Amazon Prime.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Real good movie from the 1990s.
So do you have anything else to say about this one?
No, I'm good.
First one for me is called The Rocketeer, which is a superhero movie from the 1991. Guy finds a rocket pack, becomes a superhero. There's Nazi spies who are the ones that wanted to steal the jetpack. The FBI are trying to find the jetpack.
Everyone wants this jetpack.
Shenanigans ensue along the way.
Yeah, I always thought this movie was older. I didn't realize it came out in 91. I always thought it was older than that.
It feels older because it's set in 1938. So there's a lot of stuff in there which makes you feel... It's like an Indiana Jones, where it's like... It feels like...
That's a very comparable. I would compare this to Indiana Jones. I like this movie.
In a lot of ways, I would, yeah.
It's based on a comic,
I feel the same. I feel the same towards this as I kind of do towards Indiana Jones, where I'm like, it's fine. I will say, as soon as I saw the Nazi spy, Timothy Dalton, I immediately was like, he looks familiar. And then I was like, oh, he's the dude from Doctor Who. He's Rastalon.
I mean, he's also James Bond.
I mean, I didn't watch that, so
I'm just saying
that's not where I know him from.
I'm just saying it's a famous role he did. He was James Bond.
That's fair. Yeah, it's fine. It's one of those ones where it's like, if this is a kids movie, which I don't know that it's supposed to be,
family adventure movie is how I would categorize
family adventure. I couldn't imagine this holding my attention as a kid.
I do. I love this movie as a kid.
There's a lot of, same way that I don't for Indiana Jones. There's just a lot of talking.
I mean, that's fair. I I remember, but to be fair, all the parts of it I remember are him with the helmet on doing the jetpack stuff. That's all the parts I remember. I don't remember any of the middle bits.
That's fair. I don't know. Maybe if I had watched it in 90s, like in the 90s, it would have done more for me. But watching it in the 2020s, I'm just like, it's just
It's one of those franchises they're constantly trying to bring back because it's based on quite a famous.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that because when I went to Disney Plus to look up the Rocketeer, the one that it kept bringing up was a show which I believe was in the 2020s. It's like an animated show called
really?
The Rocketeers.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's one of those ones that it's constantly in development hell. They're constantly getting a new director, new writer, whatever. It pops up a lot. They're making a Rocketeer movie, and then nothing comes of it. Because for whatever reason, he's Iron Man, but infinitely like with the novelty of he's from the 30s. Yeah, I don't get it.
No, me neither. I do for the time.
Yeah.
Like, I understand
For the
in
90s, yeah, for sure. Like, but now there's
like,
so much. I mean,
there's so many other things. Like, I feel like he'd be a good comic book character.
Yeah, the appeal to him now would be you do all of his stunts practically, and there's no CGI. That's the only sort of appeal to him. Otherwise, if you're going to do him CGI, he's just going to be Iron Man, a less interesting Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I really have to say about that one, though.
That's all I gotta say about that. So my next one, it's a movie called the original Total Recall, which I didn't realize was made by the guy who makes RoboCop. Which,
Really?
yeah, when I watched this movie, I was like, I don't think I've seen the R-rated version of this, because I think I watched the TV version of this, which was less bloody, because this movie was way bloodier than I remember. And have you seen the original Total Recall?
See, that's the one where he has the thing over his eyes and he sees and like he has dreams and stuff.
No, that's the Sixth Day. We're gonna talk about that another. We're gonna talk about that another day. That's a different movie.
Maybe I just do by by name or by associate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's the one where he goes to Mars, and there's the one scene where he's like the old lady at the airport, and it turns into, or it's like his head looks like it's about to explode.
It sounds familiar, but
and more recent episode of Futurama, they did Quato, and I'm like, I get this reference, I don't know why, and that's like, because that's a character in this movie. But basically, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's a construction guy in the future, and on Mars, there's like this civil war going amongst people. It's a weirdly complex movie, and he goes to a thing called total memory implantation or something, to have the memory of going to Mars planted into his head.
Yeah, this sounds familiar. Like this
We've
sounds,
seen the. We went to theaters
to
watch the remake. We've seen the remake.
Fair. That might be what I'm thinking of then.
I don't think the remake. I looked up the plot description of the remake, and I don't think I think it's slightly different. But and then it turns out that he is a spy working for the bad guy, and he has fallen in love with a good guy, and he's trying to get away or try to get to the rebel leader, and he's created this new personality to go like deep undercover. But the new personality is fighting back, and there's like 50 billion twists, and they kind of get like, so then at the end it turns out that the original version of Arnold Schwarzenegger before he became the guy, the character of the movie was a bad guy the whole time, and it's like, yeah, that's like one too many rug pulls. It's just too many. But some of the puppetry, I will say, some of the special effects makeup is really kind of cool. Quato or whatever is an impressive looking puppet. When they blow up their heads on Mars, it looks suitably horrifying, and it's a surprisingly bloody movie. And I guess the mystery's kind of okay. I remember it being more like, it was more just, it's weird because they gaslight him into thinking that this is all in his head, and then the movie tries to make you think. And then I was reading about it, and it was apparently supposed to be ambiguous. Like, you're supposed to not know whether or not he actually, whether or not it was because he part of the thing when he implants the memory is being an agent, and at a certain point the doctor shows up and is like, yeah, your brain is frying in a chair, like this isn't actually happening, and I'm a program. And he thinks that that's the bad guys like trying to convince him, gaslight basically him into thinking that this is fake, so he'll go back to being undercover again. But I did some reading, and it was like, oh no, that is actually the brain, like his brain. He really is hallucinating, and you're meant to question whether or not it's real the whole time. I'm like, really? Because at a certain point, the movie doesn't make that clear. The movie's like, oh no, what's happening to him is real, and this is all a big conspiracy, and there's no ambiguity here. But that could just be a case of me misreading it. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds familiar. I think I've seen some version of it.
I feel like you've seen the original, but I cannot say with any certainty.
Like, I just feel like there was a time there where we watched a bunch of Schwarzenegger films, and that was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do recall that. I do recall getting you to watch it, but just yeah, weird movie.
Yeah,
weird movie from the 90s.
Overall, though, good movie.
Well, what's interesting about a movie that's at the start of the decade, and I felt this a lot this week, they feel more like 80s movies than they do 90s movies. So this felt real 1989 more than it did 1990 or 1988.
Yeah, I had a similar feeling with a number of these. Like the one that I'm going to talk about next, it reminds me of Beetlejuice, for example, which I believe was late 80s.
I think so. Pretty sure, yeah.
Also, yeah. Okay, so anything else to say about?
No, I'm good.
Total Recall.
I'm good, dog.
My next one is Drop Dead Fred, which is a 1991 black comedy fantasy film. Quiet girl is being pushed around by her husband and her mom. As far as I'm concerned, fucking snaps and starts seeing her imaginary friend again that nobody else can see.
It's a full-blown mental breakdown.
Full-blown mental breakdown. And then her husband like tries to take her back, but he's still messing around with the other girl.
Oh yeah. Doesn't the husband like try to gaslight the hell out of her?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's it's largely like nothing really stands out to me as being very significant kind of movie until like we get near the end when she's saying goodbye to her imaginary friend and it's this dream sequence and they kiss.
Yeah.
Like on the lips, full blown, and it's weird and it doesn't there's no need for it. It doesn't add anything and I don't understand why they do it.
I'm always weirded out when you do imaginary friend stories and the imaginary friend is just a guy. Because you're just kind of like, where? I think I might have said that about this character. I said, where did this come from? Where is it?
Who is it? Who is she basing this image on?
Right. Who is this based upon? Like what if it's a dinosaur or like a lizard or like a bear or like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's why like in Supernatural, I like that one's like, oh yeah, they're just spirit creatures and that's why he's a guy. Okay.
Like, or even if it's like a human, but he has animal characteristics.
Yeah, like he's a unicorn man.
Or like bunny ears and like an elephant trunk, like
right.
Something that makes him like not just a guy.
Not just a guy.
It comes across throughout this movie as she's having a psychotic breakdown, and it's really the part where it loses me, honestly and truly, is when they kiss, because it is just weird. It's weird, and here I'll read the. Charles now wants her back. Charles is the husband, and she is overjoyed until Fred discovers he is still cheating with Annabella and tells her. Heartbroken, she tells Fred that she cannot leave Charles because she is scared of being alone, and then passes out. They escape to a dream sequence in which she is able to reject Charles and stand up to Polly. Polly is her mother. Declaring she is no longer afraid of her. She frees her imprisoned childhood self. Fred tells her that she no longer needs him, so they kiss and he disappears. Why do they kiss? The kissing is irrelevant. The kissing is unnecessary. It's just weird. It just doesn't... I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, maybe it has something to do with. I got nothing, man. That's weird. I don't know.
And
I just remember it being a weird movie.
So, two interesting things, one of which is not surprising, and it explains why it feels like Beetlejuice. So Tim Burton was offered the role of director,
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
and Robin Williams was going to be Fred.
Yeah, see, I feel like that would have worked better.
I do too.
I do recall it
he
had like
would've-
an oddly sinister tone to it. I do remember that.
And but I also just believe that Robin Williams' character wouldn't have kissed her randomly.
I like
And
to
if he
think
did,
would have.
if he did, it would have been like on the forehead or the cheek or something platonic.
Right? Well, is it like is it like a romantic kiss?
I don't. It's just like they Justin, like they're holding each other's faces and it's on the on the lips.
Yeah, but is it like your grandma grabs you and kisses you on the lips, like on the
Feels
lips?
no.
Or is it like a
feels
romantic
like
on the lips?
It feels
There is a
romantic,
difference.
but that also feels weird because he's known her since she was a kid. It doesn't feel platonic. I don't think there's a platonic kissing someone on the lips. If you're going platonic, you go cheeks, you go forehead, or you go top of head, like around here. You don't do lips.
You're not gonna see me disagree with that.
Like, no, that to me it feels, especially because there was no hint throughout the movie of like, oh yeah, I had a crush on my imaginary friend when I grew up. Like, there's nothing like to really set up or make you think that that's coming. It just comes out of nowhere to the point where I had to rewind it 2 times to be like, why are they kissing?
wait,
Like,
did they just kiss?
It doesn't fit Drop Dead Fred. Like, the entire movie, he's infantile because he's her imaginary friend when he was a kid. First scene you see of him is him coming in the house and wiping his dog shit colored feet all over the couch. And yet by the end of the movie we're supposed to believe that they're kissing? It's weird. It's a weird choice. That's the one part of this movie which just it breaks me.
Drop Dead Fred. It's a weird choice.
It really is. Not a bad movie, just a strange decision.
Not a bad movie, just a strange decision. Put that on the DVD. That's the you know the pull quotes they get for reviews. That's the pull quote. That's on the poster. It gets on the poster. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just weird. I don't like it.
It's just a strange choice. But that's all I have to say
about Drop Dead Fred and its weirdness. My next one is another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, because apparently 2 came out that year, and it's a little movie called Kindergarten Cop. And Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a tough, rootin' tootin' LA cop, and his dad was a cop and his mom was a cop's wife, and he's tracking down a bad guy, and this bad guy, he gets arrested, but the bad guy's got a bunch of money hidden, and there's an ex-wife, and the ex-wife knows it, but they don't know who the ex-wife is because she's in hiding, but they know that the son goes to this school, so they go undercover, and as a kindergarten teacher, and initially it's supposed to be a woman, but oh no, and she's got a teaching background. But then, oh no, Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's a mix-up and she gets sick, so Arnold Schwarzenegger has to be the teacher, but he doesn't have a background. And that's it. That's the movie.
Womp womp. Arnold Schwarzenegger can't teach. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
And yeah, it was very much, he did this movie. It was supposed to have either Bill Murray or...
Give me that ball. Put that pencil down now.
No, it's not the tumor! Who's the other one?
I need my number 2 pencil.
And initially, obviously, they run all over him. They're a bunch of 6-year-olds, and then he eventually becomes attached to them, and he develops. He gets them all organized, and they become good kids, and he's really effective at being a teacher. And there's a abusive dad who's beating the crap out of his kid that he punches, and It's a really fun and cute movie, and it's really quite funny. But hold on, that was it. Oh yeah, it's also directed by Ivan Reitman, who did the Ghostbusters, and it was Bill Murray, and Patrick Swayze, as well as Danny DeVito were considered for the role, and I don't think any of them would have worked because especially Bill Murray. 90% of what makes this movie funny, and 90% about what makes this movie work for me anyway. It gets a bit schmaltzy at the end, but what makes it work for me is that it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what makes it funny. It's the inherent, like, he's huge, and they're all tiny.
Yeah.
Like, he's massive.
The size comparison.
Yeah.
It'd be like having Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about it before, but Arnold is like, he really missed a step as a comedic actor, because his facial expressions are so good. Like, I think we mentioned it in our Christmas episode about Jingle All the Way. But honestly and truly, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger bits is
Oh, that cookie!
put that cookie down. No, it's
Put that cookie down.
after he's had the conversation with the wife about getting the toy, and she's like, "Oh, it'll be sold out." And it's this nice moment, and all of a sudden zooms on his face, and his eyes go wide. His face, yeah, that is so funny. It's such good usage of the face, good physical comedy, just really funny stuff. And this movie is a lot of that. And yeah, he did this to prove that he wasn't just a big dumb action star, and he can do other stuff other than dumb action movies. And it's just a fun movie. This is a really fun movie. That is it. That's Kindergarten Cop.
So the 90s must have been big for Schwarzenegger, because I did Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is another Schwarzenegger.
It's another Schwarzenegger.
Come with me if you want to live.
I don't like the kid.
I mean, that's fair that you don't like the kid, but we have to all just agree that this is the best Terminator movie.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is the best Terminator movie, just objectively. It's just the best Terminator movie.
It's definitely.
Oh no, you tell us in the comments. Do you think? What do you think is the best Terminator movie, and why is it the second one? It's the second one.
It's got to be the second.
It's the second one.
Because the second one, like they so. You're coming off the first one where you had Schwarzenegger trying to murder people, and you see Schwarzenegger and he's not trying to murder people, and it's a reverse from the first one, and
the only thing though is the only thing you gotta keep in mind though is like the movie telegraphs it as though it's supposed to be a twist that the Arnold Schwarzenegger one isn't evil, but the marketing gave it away.
Oh, that's fair.
I know, so it doesn't get the credit. It doesn't get the credit.
Even still, it is still a delight. There's a lot of really fun scenes in it, and some tight action. And
oh hell yeah, James Cameron directed action sequence.
The liquid metal Terminator is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to come to Mortal Kombat. He's coming to Mortal Kombat 1. It's gonna be fun.
I'm stoked to be able to play as him.
Right.
But yeah, this one I there's no weird imaginary friend kissing scenes, so I'm not quite as passionate. The most that I can really say about this one is it was delightful to watch something that was good.
Right? It's really good. It's weird because it feels like it should be. I'm pretty sure it's an R-rated movie, but it feels like it should be a PG-13. Like if this movie came out today, they would like have skewered it. People would complain about the kid. They'd call it woke or whatever.
Yeah, but back in the day, so budget was 94 to 102 million, and box office was 519 to 520.9 million. This thing destroyed. It
Very
was a
successful.
significant success.
And it's fascinating because it's just such a different movie from the first one, which is the real low budget, slasher thriller.
Yeah, it's a very different experience.
And that was the movie where they're like, Terminator's an action movie. That's all it ever will be.
It sort of transitioned into that, yeah.
And, yeah, every version of the Terminator since has been a variation of the T-1000.
Apparently, with the scheduled release date, Cameron had 6 to 7 weeks to write the sequel. So
Huh.
it's pretty remarkable that it's as good as it is.
Yeah, that is very remarkable. Also, enough can't be said for Linda Hamilton, who was phenomenal. She's really good in that movie.
Apparently, he took a lot of inspiration, and I can see how this is the case, from the Wizard of Oz's Tin Man getting a heart.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the Terminator gets a heart by the end.
That he does, and then he does this as he melts. Ta 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 ta. For the Spotify listeners, I'm slowly lowering my thumb. Anyway, Jordan, do you have anything else to say about Terminator 2?
No, it's pretty fucking fantastic.
It is a solid time at the movies. Jordan, is it on anything right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't download it. I believe it was on Crave.
It's on Crave
or Amazon.
Or Amazon.
Might have been Netflix.
Look on all three of those. It's on one of those certainly.
It was on one of them because I didn't download it. So. I mean, procure it in a perfectly
pay for it on Google Store.
Yeah. That's what I meant when I said downloaded it, obviously, because I paid for it.
It wasn't just on streaming.
Yeah. No, actually, in this instance, it was, but it was on streaming.
In other instances, there's been times where it hasn't. Anyway, my next rapid fire. This one surprised me in the sense that I always discounted this movie. It's so funny in our attempt. I realize in our attempt to, we really steer away from Disney as much as possible.
Because it's safe and boring.
It is just safe and boring.
I've been saving it because I assume there will eventually be a Disney episode.
There will eventually be a Disney episode. But this one surprised me because it turns out it's part of the Disney Renaissance. I've been giving it shit for years, calling it straight to DVD. But that's The Rescuers Down Under. And this movie was very funny because it's one of those ones where I know I've seen the first Rescuers, but I don't remember any of it really, other than the fact that there's the mouse played by Bob Newhart, who Bob Newhart.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, do they go to Australia?
Yes.
In this one?
Yes, they
Yes?
do.
Okay. That's why it's called Down Under. I was going to say, if they don't go and it's called Down Under, then I would have been disappointed.
I will tell you what it's about. There's a bit of background. So, The Rescuers is about two mice. One played by Bob Newhart, who as Professor Proton from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
That's Bob Newhart. And some other famous chick from like the 60s or 70s. And they are mice, and their whole deal is they rescue kids who have been kidnapped, and it's apparently based on a series of books.
Would you say they are rescuers?
They are rescuers. They are. Yeah, I think it looks like they're the prototype of what became the rescue. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rescue Rangers began its life as doing something with the rescuers. And so I don't really remember the first one. I feel like I've seen it at least once, but I don't remember anything about it other than the two lead characters and kind of what they're dressed like. That's kind of it. And so
it doesn't want to have a pink beret.
One has a red beret. He has a red beret and like a little sporty jacket. And the other one,
but the girl has the pink beret.
Yeah, thing. It's a more like a Russian thing. I think she's supposed to be Russian.
Okay.
Miss Bianca, I think is what her name is. And she's the main character from the books. Like, the second book is literally named after her. Like, she's the main character.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, this movie is about a little boy who's from Australia, who has befriended a big bald eagle. So it's a specific kind of eagle, but it effectively looks like a big bald eagle. And whilst he's, like, helping her get back to her eggs, he gets kidnapped by this poacher who's essentially got him kidnapped, try and get this this eagle. And most of the movie, the rescuers aren't really in it because most of and also all of the animals talk, and he can talk to animals.
Of course they
but
do.
It doesn't. Well, not all of the animals, because the bad guy has a lizard, and the lizard doesn't talk, but like all the mice do, and he can talk to all of the mice, and like he has animal friends he can talk to, but it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. So, but I haven't seen the first one, so I don't know if the first one establishes the fact that this is just a universe where animals talk. So I don't know if this is universe breaking or not, because I have not seen the first one. And so
I don't remember the first one. I am pretty sure that I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it. But so 90% of the movie is the and there's a seagull played by John Candy who's pretty funny. But yeah, most of the movie is the rescuers just kind of just missing the kid or on the way to the kid, and like they don't really play a huge part in it till like the end, and the movie's only like an hour and like 15 minutes. But it's right. What's incredible about it is it's right in the middle of the Disney Renaissance. It's part of the Disney Renaissance. Really? It's quite beautifully animated. It's very pretty.
Then we must have seen it then, because we
I've seen it.
were the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah, it came out in 1990. It comes out after The Little Mermaid. It's theatrically released. It has like most of the original cast come back. It was the final performance of the woman who plays the girl mouse. It was the final thing she ever did. But it's the original cast comes back. My thing is, like, the rescuers don't really seem to get to do much, but I don't know if that's their thing. Like, I don't know if in the first one, if it's the same thing, if it's like 90% little girl, because I know the first one is the little girl, is them saving a little girl. So I don't know if that's the same thing in the first one. So these things where I'm like, it just seems like they're barely in this movie. And also, one of the characters is, it was driving me crazy the whole movie. And one of the characters is, you remember Pippi, Pippi Longstocking?
Yes.
Thunder Carlson and Bloom?
I'm aware of them, yes.
Bloom. The guy who plays Bloom is in this movie.
The Bloom is the big one, right?
Little one,
okay.
I was like, why do I recognize his voice? It's Bloom.
The squeaky
one. Yeah, he's a little lizard.
That's funny.
Yeah. It turns out he's Canadian. He does a lot of Canadian shows. He was in a lot of stuff we watched as a kid. But it's otherwise all right. Not terribly memorable. I understand why nobody really remembers it. But yeah, it's very funny. For most of my life, I could have sworn it was straight to DVD. But turns out it wasn't. Turns out it is, in fact, it precedes Aladdin. It's the movie they made before Aladdin, but after The Little Mermaid, but no one remembers that.
The forgotten child, the forgotten middle child.
Well, yeah, the little forgotten middle child of the Disney Renaissance that nobody really remembers. But it was very much a theatrical movie that got the full budget of Disney, and it looks pretty good for its time. Like, it doesn't look straight to DVD.
Holds up well.
Yeah, it holds up well. Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, this is much better than I thought it was.
This was 1990. Call it what it is. Straight to VHS.
Straight to VHS, yeah. It looks straight to VHS. Oh, I thought it was straight to VHS.
There was no DVD. Divida? What's a Divida?
I remember that movie being straight to DVD. Or straight to VHS, if you prefer. Anyway, that's The Rescuers Down Under.
So, I also left the country for this rapid fire and went to Japan. I watched Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Oh, Godzilla.
King Ghidorah. But I watched the dub because it was funnier.
We grew up with the dub. It's hard not to watch the dub. The dub is always fun.
It's always enjoyable watching the dub. So this one, there's time travelers. They go back and stop Godzilla from being creative, leave their things there so they can have a monster that they can control, because Japan has apparently gotten too strong and too powerful in the future. They need to stop that before it happens.
That was it. Japan had become a dominant superpower and they needed to prevent that.
Yeah, which I thought was funny.
That is funny given that, like, that's 1990. That is oddly imperialist of them to.
Yeah. right. But so then they later on, and also the way time travel works in this movie makes no sense. So they go back and stop Godzilla from being created, but nothing else in the future or nothing else in the present has changed.
Nope.
So everybody still remembers that there was a Godzilla and every like their full past, but Godzilla just ceased to be.
He just
That
stopped it.
no
It's
no.
causality based time travel to a point. Wink.
Um but it's a fun movie. I mean, I have a soft spot for Godzilla.
That's the one where it's like,
The
"Bye, surprise! We made King Ghidorah."
Yeah, pretty much. Um and we have control of him.
Yep, and they're like, "We have to go
Um
back and create a bigger, meaner Godzilla."
Oh no, they don't go back to make them. I mean, they literally find the Godzilla dinosaur in present day and just nuke the shit out of him with a modern day bomb.
And they're like, "We're gonna make a bigger, meaner Godzilla."
And so now by the end of the movie, it's they're like he's like, yeah, he's not the friendly dinosaur that you knew. He's not the purple friendly dinosaur you knew. Now he's a bigger, angrier Godzilla who's not your defender.
He's
Which
even
I'm
more purple. Look how purple he is.
which I'm guessing in Godzilla movies past this point, he's now then a meaner Godzilla.
Probably, yeah.
This was probably how they left the one age of Godzilla and moved into the next
I'm
age.
sure probably, yeah, it was their way of being like, yeah, he's not your daddy's Godzilla. He's not doing the silly little dance in the air. He's not doing that
Now,
anymore. He's mean now.
He's a big mean one.
He's a big, mean, green machine.
Apparently, um, huh, uh, so I'm reading a little bit about it because the previous installment was a box office disappointment due to a lack of child viewership and alleged competition with Back to the Future franchise. The producers of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah were compelled to create a film with more fantasy elements along with time travel.
All right.
So, so this has time travel in it because of Back to the Future.
Because of Back to the Future, that's hilarious. Thanks, Back to the Future. I actually like this movie, so I'm okay with that.
Apparently, it was the first Godzilla film since 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla to feature a newly orchestrated score by Akira Ifukube.
This is my favorite era of Godzilla movies.
It was followed by Godzilla vs. Mothra.
Yep, that's the Mothra movie I grew up with. That's the one with Batra, pretty sure.
Um,
Batra.
Yeah.
No.
But
Batra.
I enjoyed this one. Like I love a good goofy guy in a suit.
I mean, who doesn't love a good goofy guy in a suit? Look at that goofy guy in a suit.
And the special effects for the time were pretty good.
I mean, yeah, this one's fun.
Apparently, the film was considered controversial at the time of its release, being contemporary to a period of economic tension between America and Japan, mainly due to its fictional World War II depictions. Gerald Globitz of the Pearl Harbor Survivors Association appeared alongside director Kazuki Omori on Entertainment Tonight and condemned the film as being in very poor taste and detrimental to American-Japanese relations.
Huh, interesting. Hard to imagine that about a Godzilla movie.
Ishiro Honda also criticized Omori, stating that the scene in which Godzilla attacks and crushes American GIs went too far. Conversely, Godzilla historian Steve Rifle said American media reports of supposed anti-Americanism weren't really thought-provoking or insightful. And Omori has denied all allegations.
All right.
Stating that the American extra in the film had been, quote, happy about being crushed and squished by Godzilla.
I'm okay then. So is that it? Is that it about Godzilla?
Yeah, I thought that last little bit was funny.
That is funny. So my final rapid fire of the afternoon. It's only 1:00, Jordan.
I have two.
All right.
Because you asked me to do an extra one.
I did. It's Flatliners, Jordan. It's a movie I watched called Flatliners. Jordan, have you seen Flatliners?
And no.
Directed by Joel Schumacher of Batman and Robin fame. It stars Kevin Bacon and Kiefer Sutherland and Julia
The
Roberts
bacon.
and Oliver Platt and Adam Baldwin. And they are a bunch of medical students who have discovered, well, what they believe, and I will make the case today for that they are incorrect. Being I'm not a brain surgeon, I don't know, but I cannot say for sure. But basically, they discovered that if they kill themselves for a certain amount of time, they gain access to the afterlife, and they have like a vision, and it gives them like it allows them to basically reconcile death, what happens after you die. And first goes Kiefer Sutherland, and he keeps having, throughout the movie, each of the people who do this all have visions, or hallucinations. So Kiefer Sutherland keeps seeing this kid who he bullied when he was in like elementary school, who keeps showing up and beating the crap out of him. And the one guy keeps hallucinating. He's basically sleeping with all these women and filming them without their consent. So he keeps seeing them. The Kevin Bacon keeps seeing this little girl who he made fun of when she was a kid. A lot of these involve bullying for some reason. And yeah,
Because
like,
there was a strong anti-bullying sentiment in the 90s.
and they basically all think that they saw God and they now believe in God and that God is real. And it's like, no, it's just your brain dying. Like, because it basically how they kill themselves is they like medically stop their heart. And I'm pretty sure, and somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I probably am, but I'm pretty sure your brain is the last thing to die when you die.
I believe it also slowly stops getting oxygen coming to it, which would cause hallucinations.
Right. And so it's like, oh, yeah, they come back and he's having these vivid hallucinations, or he's being hurt by this kid. Like, well, no, you're clearly injuring yourself in a state, and it's from the brain damage from killing yourself. Like, it's just the movie wants you to think it's supernatural. Like, it wants you to think that, like, yeah, they're seeing ghosts or whatever, but it's like, no, there's all within the confines of this movie perfectly rational explanations for all of this supposed supernatural things you're experiencing. Like, no, it's just the consequence of shutting off your brain for 5 minutes. Like, one person
you irresponsible person,
right?
You.
One of them kills themselves for like 4.5 minutes. It's like, no, that's just the brain damage. Like, you're just severely brain damaged.
I think you can go like 12 minutes before you die.
This movie says 9. He goes 9 minutes, but yeah, I seem to recall hearing something about that in like a show or something. But still, like, it's the damage from the brain damage from killing yourself. That's what it is.
Not something that we here at the Spur of the Moment podcast think you should be doing.
No, don't go do a Flatliners. But it's a movie that's definitely very influential because everyone's seen an episode of a show that's done a Flashliners. I think Smallville did an episode that was literally just Flatliners. Supernatural did, yeah. And the performance is all right. Kiefer Sutherland's pretty good in it. Kevin Bacon is all right. I forget her name. Julia Roberts is okay. It's not very scary, and like I say, everything has a rational explanation. And everyone in the movie's dumb. That's it. That's the Flatliners.
Okay. So I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Ooze. Ooze. It just rolls off the tongue better, Jordan. Ooze.
Had a budget of $25 million, made a box office of $78.7 million.
That's the one they weren't allowed to use their weapons.
Oh. Okay.
You're noticing that in that movie they never once used their weapons? That's why in the opening scene, Michelangelo, he uses the yo-yo to beat the guys up. Because they weren't allowed to use their weapons. Because parents complained after the second one.
First one.
After the first one. They complained after the first one.
Because this is the second one.
And also, the kid is clearly supposed to be the kid from the first one.
I don't remember the first one well enough. But the second one's fun. I like the turtle suits. I think
do.
they are impressive for the time. I appreciate that Donatello has a personality in this one.
I like Tokar and
Uh,
Razar, although it should have been Bebop and Rocksteady.
yeah, yeah, but I understand why they went with the ones they did because they wanted to have them have like a childlike persona.
True,
Um,
true. Tokar and Razar though have gone on to be very prominent characters, and like I think they may have come back in the one of the animated series for an episode.
fair, fair. Uh, Apparently, the characters of Bebop and Rocksteady, who are popular villains in the animated series, could not be used due to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird objecting.
Oh, I wonder why.
With the latter stating that their constant one-note shtick in the first animated series was extremely annoying and silly to the point of being stupid, which is why
Okay.
Toka and Rizar were created, who
Yeah,
are equally stupid.
right. They're
So
the same characters. They just look different.
well, I mean, no, they don't have a
Functionally, they're the same.
personality.
Functionally, they're the same character.
Then that's well, I mean, but that's what they wanted. They wanted a version of the character that didn't have the personality that made Bebop and Rocksteady who they are.
Yeah,
So
I
they made one.
guess.
They made one.
I guess.
Um,
guess.
oh, interesting. The building used for the entrance of April's apartment is the office of the New York location of Jim Henson's Creature Shop,
That makes sense.
which did the animated work for the film and its predecessor.
Yep. Yeah. They
That
also
is-
created the suits.
The film is dedicated to the memory of Jim Henson, who had died the previous May.
No. Yeah, the suits are made by Jim Henson Company. That's why they're so good.
That would explain it.
Yeah, those things they used to fall apart like crazy. Like yeah, there's a lot of stunts in those movies where I'm like, man, to be the guy in that stunt suit. Oof.
Right?
Bad day.
Right?
That'd be a day where I'd be
Teenage
like, what am I doing?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were very popular when we grew up.
Yes, they were. Yeah, I do enjoy them. I will say Super Shredder scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, and I will say that this is before the third one. The third one, in my opinion, really drags the first two down.
A little bit.
But that's all I have to really say about this one. Is it's very ooze-tastic.
Ooze.
Tastic.
Ooze. It just rolls off the tongue better. Ooze. Revenge
So
of
you
the
don't. No, Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze. Yeah, I don't have it. What's your next one?
My next one is Shakes the Clown, which was going to be a pick, but got downgraded.
Got downgraded. He's got that's the one that has Adam Sandler as a clown. Is that movie upsetting? I feel like I've heard that movie's upsetting.
I mean, for me, it was kind of boring. It didn't really pass the phone test, so there's points where I kind of phased out. Then I looked up, and there was Robin Williams as a mime, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well, there's Rob Williams, and he's a mime. I walked in, it was, hey, it's Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Surprise, Adam Sandler.
I wouldn't have known that was Adam Sandler if I hadn't already known that it was Adam Sandler. He doesn't look like Adam Sandler there, and he sounds just different enough to my ears. Like he's still so young.
I mean, yeah, he's in clown makeup.
That has nothing to do with the sound.
No, I'm saying that's why he didn't look like Adam Sandler because he was in
No,
clown makeup.
I know, but I'm saying he also didn't sound like Adam Sandler except at certain points.
See,
because he's so young.
fair. I recognize him as Adam Sandler.
I'm used to old man Adam Sandler.
That is fair. That is fair.
But basically, the plot of the story, Cold Notes version, Shakes the Clown is a very bad clown, children performer, but he's an alcoholic, so he's frequently drunk.
Oh yeah, I did walk in on the scene where he's like, your mom hired a bunch of adults to hang out with you because you have no friends. I did think that was kind of funny.
Yeah. So there's this other clown. Basically, he's part of what I think is supposed to be like, in the Joker, how the Joker has his agent and like, huh?
Clown Union.
Yeah, I guess. He seems to be part of that. And one of the clowns that he knows gets replaced as. So there was this one clown who was essentially like a Krusty the Clown. He had his TV show.
Gotcha.
and then this other clown is then set up to take his place, but he's also a really bad person, and he ends up murdering like the agent of the clowns.
So there's a clown on
With
clown
with
violence?
with his no, he murders not the clown. He murders the agent of the
Oh,
clowns.
but the agent of the clown is not a clown agent? He's not like an agent who is dressed as a clown?
No. He's literally their agent. He's
So
just a guy.
he's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
And bad clown murders him, and then is like, oh, well, now who can I use to frame? And so then he uses our alcoholic clown Shakes as the scapegoat, and then like Scape has to prove his innocence and all that, and that's kind of the movie.
Does he?
Does he what?
Does he prove his innocence?
Yes, I believe he does by the end.
All right.
By the end, Binky's in jail. Shakes is now the new host of the TV show, which proves to be a big hit with children. Shakes, Dink, and Stenchy are the stars of the show and entertain the audience by chasing Jerry the Mime. Jerry the Mime is Robin Williams.
Oh, all right. All right. So happy ending.
There's also a scene where Shakes is hiding, and so he's not in his clown outfit, and he's dressed as a mime, and he's in the mime class, and Robin Williams is the teacher of the mime class, and we get some comedy there. It's a weird movie. And when I saw the clowns and I saw that it had Adam Sandler, Tom Kenny, Robin Williams, like a bunch of names that I recognize, and I thought, oh man, a movie with all those guys and they're clowns? Surely that I'll have just a bunch to say about this movie out the back end of this. Not really, as it turns out.
You're like, it's about, you're just like, send in the clowns.
It's just a lot of clowns, and Julie Brown as Judy, who is Shakes the, I believe that's the right character, who is Shakes the Clown girlfriend, and at one point she gets kidnapped by the bad clown because he's crazy and they're all crazy, and it's clowns, Justin. It's
Clowns!
Just a lot of clowns.
It's just a lot of clowns. So many clowns.
It was not a financial success.
No, doesn't surprise me.
Earned an estimated 115,103 in ticket sales against an estimated budget of 1.4 million.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's not a super high budget, but that is...
1.4 million as a budget is pretty high when you're only making $115 back on that.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bomb. That's a big old bomb. It made no
Like,
money.
You have Robin Williams in this. You're paying a lot.
Yeah, that is also true, yeah.
Sure, he's in like 2 scenes, but still.
What year is this? What year did this movie come out?
90.
Oh, 91.
Think about that question, Justin.
Right, 91. Yo, yeah. So we're talking like he's popular.
Yeah, this is shortly before Aladdin, but he's still pretty popular.
He's pretty popular, and he doesn't make any money. Maybe it's because he's too busy being disguised as a mime.
Yeah, maybe. It came out August 28th, 1991, in Boston.
That makes sense.
And then March 13th, 1992 in the rest
So
of
it's
the
technically, Jordan, before you were born.
Yeah, technically. It's older than me by a few months.
Yeah.
But that is Shakes the Clown, and that is the end of my rapid fire.
It's time for the end of the rapid fires, because it's the end of the rapid fires. It's time for the end of the rapid fires. But that means it's time for the main report, and I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
I guess I'll go the first, and I shall begin with. What do I want to start with? There's so much to say about both. You know what? Let's do Goodfellas. Jordan, have you seen Goodfellas?
I know the name.
You would probably know it as in parody form as The Good Feathers on Animaniacs.
Maybe.
But it is a gangster movie about, I forget the guy's name, but he's played by Ray Liotta, and it's about his life and how he gets involved in the mob, and he's friends with the character's name is Paulie, but he's played by, I'm spinning. Joe Pesci, the bad guy from Home Alone, the one with the gold tooth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, him. I hit him, and then Robert De Niro's also in it, and they all work in the mob. Marv. No, not Marv. Yeah, Marv. Yeah, Marv. Harry is the other guy. Yeah, I think. Oh, no, he might be Harry.
I'm 90% sure I'm right that he's Marv.
I honestly don't know, but anyway, and it's a 2.5 hour movie made by Martin Scorsese about the life and fall of this Ray Liotta. Basically, it's very similar to in terms of its like pacing and structure. It really reminds me a lot of Wolf of Wall Street, where it's just like Martin Scorsese.
Marv is the tall one.
Marv is the tall one, so he's the short one.
Oh, he's Harry. Okay.
Yeah, he's Harry. And so yeah, he's really good at taking guys who are just despicable. Like there's a scene in this movie where, speaking of gaslighting, where Ray Liotta just gaslights the shit out of his wife, and is basically just like she is convinced that he's cheating, which he is. And she's like threatening him with a gun, and he's like, "You're crazy. You're making this all up in your head. I'm not actually cheating on you, Mary. This is all you're completely crazy." And it's just him trying to gaslight the hell out of her. And it's just it's really well paced. It's 2.5 hours, but it just flies by. The performances are really good. Joe Pesci is just a maniac. I'm sure you've probably seen a parody of it or a version of it where he's like, "Oh, you're really funny." He's like, "Oh, you think I'm funny? You think I'm funny? I amuse you? Am I some sort of clown that I go, ha ha ha, I amuse you?" And then
this sounds familiar, yeah.
Another scene you'll know because they just do it pretty much line by line, word for word on iCarly, and it's the iCarly version is where he's like, "Are you gonna dance with your shirt off?" And he's like, "I don't do that no more. I know you've been away a while, but I don't do that no more." That's literally.
Gibby.
That's literally a scene from this movie, like line by line. It's almost the exact same scene where it's him. The guy shows up and he's like, "Get your shoe shine box." The only thing it doesn't have, obviously, because it's a kids show, it doesn't have the cursing. But yeah, Joe Pesci is just this absolutely unhinged, insane man who 1 minute is like joking around and like. These scenes which he's telling these funny stories that are out of context, which don't sound particularly funny to me, and I don't think he's very charming. I don't understand it. But just like at any moment he'll snap and just kill you. Like there's this bartender who at this bar they go to, who he makes him dance in front of him and like shooting at him, and he accidentally shoots him in the foot, and so then the next time. They're at the place. Tommy's giving him shit about how slow he's moving, and the guy's like, "Fuck off," basically. And everyone in the room is like, "Oh, you let him talk to you like that? Oh, he's finally grown some stones." And then Tommy wheels around and shoots him in the head, and kills him instantly.
Shit.
And it's like, dude, like what the fuck? Like there's even like he's so unhinged that it gets to the point that even like the Italian mobsters are like, he's too much. He's like way too much. And he ends up getting killed because he freaks out and kills one of the mob guys. And again, it's just a really well-made movie. The dialogue is really good. Like I say, it really reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like an inside guy is just explaining to you. It became I've never really been interested in the inner workings of mob culture, but I found myself reading about it, and it turns out it's really complicated.
How complicated?
Like there's like different titles and different like it's a whole like spider web of like when you join the mob, there's like you're either a runner or like a soldier or like a general. A general is a capo. And you can get made, and being made basically makes you like a general, and they answer to the Don. And I'm doing a very bad job of explaining it, but it's this whole thing that Goodfellas does a reasonably good job of explaining. And it being a Martin Scorsese film, I've discovered he does a really good job of making just despicable, awful people entertaining and fun to watch. Like, I'm pretty sure I've talked about Wolf of Wall Street on this show before, but it's like one of my favorite movies, and he's just like the worst person ever.
Yeah, Jordan Belfont or whatever his name is.
Jordan Belfort, yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio's Jordan Belfort, yeah. He's really, really fun. And there's a really good scene. Joe Pesci, he won the Oscar for this, like, deservedly so. This won Best Picture, deservedly so. We often talked about pacing. The pacing in that movie is phenomenal. It's so good. It's so tight. But Robert De Niro doesn't get enough credit either, because there's a scene where he finds out that Joe Pesci's been killed and there's nothing they can do, and where he just like breaks down, and it's like one of the few times I've ever seen Robert De Niro cry in a movie. It's a genuinely good performance. It's honestly so good. It's a really, really good movie.
Okay.
Jordan, do you have any questions about Goodfellas? You should check it out. It's on Crave, I think.
Are they good? Are the Goodfellas good?
I mean, as far as the Italians are concerned, because that's where the name comes from, it's like, hey, you're a good fella. You're one of the guys. You belong. So in the sense that we are a group of guys, and I'm one of the fellas, yes. But no, Jordan, they were despicable criminals who did a lot of murders.
That's fair. So they're not very good.
They're not good fellas, no. Not by our definition, no.
Okay, that's fair. I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Wink, wink. They're the best fellas.
They're the best of fellas. We wouldn't want the Italian mob coming after us.
So I mean, no, because you just don't know how many accidents can happen in the household of the common Canadian person.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to disappear.
No, I wouldn't either. So, do you have any other things to say about the Goodfellas?
Yeah, very much one of those movies that it's a classic for a reason. If you've never seen Goodfellas, go check it out. I'm telling you to watch it. An icon of cinema, but it's genuinely very good. It's one of those. This is why I like Scorsese films. And yeah, it's a 2.5 hour film that genuinely it does not feel like 2.5 hours. It just flies by.
I got the yawns. Real bad. So, if you are done, then we shall move on to my first.
Let's just move on.
Have seen. And I've seen this one quite a number of times in my childhood. It is an American tale, and it is about how Fievel goes west.
And it's about how we're going to give him the lazy eye.
Yeah, except we won't cut out when we say it. The lazy eye.
The lazy eye. So, did that one go to theaters? Or is that was straight to DVD?
It wouldn't have been DVD because it was 1991.
You get my point. Straight to VHS. It's the same bullshit.
Just says that it was released by Universal Pictures.
It's fine. Let's find out. I shall look it up for you.
On Wikipedia, I don't really see. But apparently,
Yep, according to Google,
began its theatrical run on November 22nd, which was the same day as Beauty and the Beast.
See, that's another one that I always thought that was straight to DVD or straight to VHS if you want to be pedantic like you keep insisting on being.
Justin, we're living in the 90s. You got to use the correct terminology, bro.
Pedantic.
Yes, I am, and I will until the day I die. Growing up, I didn't realize that the bad cat was John Cleese. I obviously know it now. I recognize his voice instantly. But,
yeah, so it is. Yeah. And the good cat is I forget who the good. Sorry.
Work through it.
No, I was gonna be, who's the good cat?
Do you mean who? What's the character's name, or do you mean
Tiger? What's the voice actress who's playing Tiger?
Who is played by? Hey, come on! I can't give it to you that easily.
I honestly
you got to take at least one. You have to take at least one guess.
John Candy.
No, Dom DeLuise.
Right, he's a Dom DeLuise one. That's the Dom DeLuise role in this movie.
Yes, yes, it is. I'm ashamed that you didn't know
It's
that.
the DDL. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. Quite a long time.
Amy Irving as Miss Kitty. James Stewart as Wiley Burp.
Is this the one where they make the cats oddly sexual?
I mean, they sure.
She's like a
I
showgirl
don't-
doing like a showgirl dance.
Yeah, but then his sister also goes and does the show.
And they're all like, here's how you put on makeup, and it's like, oh, I hated this scene as a kid.
I mean, sure, but I don't know.
Indeed.
It's got good music. It's got a cute cast of characters that are zany and wacky that children did enjoy because I sure as hell remember.
I
enjoying
remember liking the second one more than I liked the first one.
it. Yeah, same.
I remember the first one being kind of boring, but
Well, the first one was darker because it was them coming to New York and it was immigration, and this one was in the Wild West and it was bright and colorful
and it was cowboys, and they were like, pow,
Yeah.
pow, pow, cowboys.
appealed to me more as a kid. Had a budget of 16.5 million and a box office of 40.8 million.
Yes.
Was released November 17th, 1991 in Kennedy Center, and then November 22nd, 1991
It's
in
still
the
older
United
than you.
States.
Still older.
It's a little
than you.
older. To be fair, most things are.
That is fair. A lot of things are older than you.
Like in the 91s, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I was like at the tail end of 91, so
True.
most things are older than me then.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, no, this one it's short, it's sweet. It's got a cast of lovable characters. It's fun. I remember liking it as a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember there being anything scary or upsetting.
But fun fact, did you know there was a video game?
Wait, no, really? For what?
An American Tail 5 Goes West video game was for Super NES.
Wait, what? Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of game it is.
It was the second game released based on the film of the same name.
Wait, what?
The other title being an adventure game for DOS, published by Capstone Software.
Adventure game
This
for
one,
DOS.
this one, judging by the fact that it was on Super NES, I don't have to read too far to guess. Yeah, side-scrolling, side view of the action nearly all times, armed with a pop gun that can eliminate enemies using a non-violent approach to the Wild West genre.
Yeah. It's a side shooter. It's Mega Man. Sounds like it's Mega Man.
Yeah, it's what it kind of. Looking at the screenshot, something like that. That genre of game.
2D platformer.
Tiny Toons adventure, side scroller platformer type game.
Yep, with a little gun.
The fact that there's two of them is funny though.
That is funny.
But yeah, no, that's an American Tail. 5 Goes West. We both learned something today about the fact that it also has a video game.
We did. Okay, Jordan, you're about to learn a bunch of stuff about. Now let's before we jump into this, Jordan, we need to begin this with a little flashback. Let's do the flashback noise with me, Jordan, to a previous time on the show. Well, no, you don't do it until I say it. That's not how the magic works. Where we do a little flashback to previous time on the show when we talked about. No, there's still not time yet. There's not time. We talked about the witches.
You guys get flashback.
There's not. No, we talked about the witches, and Jordan was like, that movie ended with him not turning back into a mouse. Cue the clip. Now we do the flashback, Jordan. There we go. Now we flashbacked. No, I'm talking about The Witches. I watched the 1990 movie The Witches. And if I've correctly edited in the clip, and Jordan didn't fuck up the timing with his... How dare you. You have seen Jordan say that the remake was weird because he doesn't turn back into a boy at the end and he stays a mouse. And Jordan was like, mice don't live very long.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
As a reminder, for those of you who might have not seen The Witches is about a little boy who is at a hotel and he runs into a bunch of witches and he gets turned into a mouse.
I mean, yeah.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
that's a pretty succinct summary.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, so while watching this movie, I was reading about the book, and surprise, this movie's incredible. Number one, but surprise, Jordan, the ending in the remake is the original ending of the book. So in the original ending of the book, he does not turn back into a human. And is in fact, it's even more fucked up in the book, because in the book, he knows he's gonna die early. He knows he's only gonna live for about 9 years, and then he's gonna die. And he's okay with that because he doesn't want to live longer than the grandma who is going to die in 9 years.
That's so fucked up.
Right? And we're gonna flash forward a bit for a second here, but the ending of this book, of this movie, is that the kid gets turned back into a human. And Roald Dahl, who was alive when they made this movie, was unhappy with that.
He wanted him to stay.
He wanted him to stay a mouse because that was the original ending. He was unhappy that they changed the ending, even though it's a better ending. The Witches!
Yeah.
Play the trailer for when I eventually make this into a YouTube video.
Do the roar.
Yeah, The Witches. So this movie's fucking upsetting. It's so upsetting. I sent Jordan clips of it. It's like, dear God, why? Who is this movie for? It is upsetting and frightening and traumatizing for children. I would know. We're the children. Jordan responded with a message of, I'm pretty sure I blocked this out of my memory, because he remembered it, but like not specifically.
I remember it being upsetting, and I remember it being horrifying, but the details of exactly how upsetting and horrifying it were definitely lost on me, because I don't think I wanted to remember this.
It's scary, right?
It's upsetting.
It is upsetting. Like, not even just the witch's makeup, which, like, okay, I can appreciate how good it is because it is genuinely upsetting, but turning into a mouse.
Some of them are. Others are just guys in drag.
It just kind of looks like a lot of them are guys in wigs. Like, a lot of the like, I'm not crazy, right? A lot of the background characters look like guys in wigs.
The video you showed me, the part that you showed me, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it did.
And so, Jordan, I'm burying the lead to tell you the most shocking fact about this movie that will both not surprise you and surprise you. You're never gonna guess who executive produced this movie and had an extensive hand in making it.
Steven Spielberg.
No. Think more.
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson executive produced this movie and had a extensive hand in making it, and he was the reason why they changed the ending.
Because he didn't want to leave him a mouse.
Yeah, he didn't want it to be a major bummer, and he had to talk to Roald Dahl to convince him to let them change the end.
That's funny.
And it is the last thing he produced.
Not
before
surprising,
right?
But
when you
funny.
see all the puppet effects in that movie, like, oh, I didn't even send you the witch when she gets turned into a mouse at the end of the movie. She becomes this horrifying half mouse, like it's half mouse, half her witch face mouse monstrosity that is also horrifying. But yeah, it like, it reminds me of like Labyrinth or like Dark Crystal, and that, like, yeah, Jim Henson loves his upsetting puppets.
Yeah, he does.
And it just kind of amused.
Really does.
It blew my mind that he is both the source of my greatest, most beloved childhood characters and the source of my greatest trauma.
My nightmare fuel.
I've seen that movie too many times. I've seen it more than once, and I don't understand why. Because it is truly upsetting. And not even just that it's upsetting, it is also absurdly boring. Like, the first 10 minutes of it, to 11 minutes of it, is just her just physically describing how awful the witches are. That's all it is. It's just them sitting in a room and her describing the witches, and that's it.
Well, I mean, that scene exists to warn you for the later scene where you see the witches and they're horrible and
It's
awful.
like, it's a lot of telling, don't show, and then it's like then showing you anyway, making her spending 10 minutes of the movie describing it completely unnecessary. Also, once it becomes a mouse, everything becomes too easy.
That scene where they're describing is there so the parents who are watching with their kids can listen to that before it gets to the showing part and be like, yeah, no, we're not.
No,
You're
no.
not sitting. We're gonna turn this off right now.
No, yeah, it's genuinely so upsetting. I don't understand why my parents let me watch it. Like it upsets me now. It gives me like an awful pity feeling in my stomach that I'm like, oh, I hate this. And it's just a genuinely boring movie. And like I say, the kid, like that scene that I showed you, it goes on for like almost 5-10 minutes of them in that room using this serum. It goes on for so long with these just like extreme close-ups of this awful, upsetting looking makeup. And I'm like, it's a movie too boring for me as an adult, and it's upsetting to me as a child. I don't understand who it's for. I don't understand Jim Henson, what were you doing, man? Why? Why did you do this? Why? Who hurt you, Jim Henson? Is it because you had the cancer at the time? You were hurting, so you had to hurt other people? Is that why?
I mean, that's clearly why. It's got to be that. There's no other reason.
There's no other reasonable explanation for why you would inflict this onto children. It's not cool. It's not cool what you've done.
It's got to be that.
It was upsetting. It was boring. And yeah, once he becomes a mouse, everything becomes really easy. Like there's one scene where where they fight a cat, but otherwise he has no trouble like getting anything from anywhere. Like the ending of the movie, he gets the dose by easily stealing it by sneaking into her room as a mouse, and then just happens to get her address book of every witch in America. He's like, oh, that's convenient. That's real convenient.
Yeah, I mean,
it was bad, and I hated it.
If it makes you feel any better, and I'd have to go back and confirm to see what my thoughts were. I seem to remember the modern telling not being very good either.
It was bad, and I hated it. And also, like, yeah, his descriptions of witches from the book are really anti-Semitic, and a lot of them make it into the movie. But it's Roald Dahl. He was known for his anti-Semitism. It was kind of his thing.
That's fair. I understand what you're trying to say.
I'm not wrong.
I didn't say you were.
I'm not wrong. He was. He was known for his rampant anti-Semitism. He basically said, I'm going to say the not bad version of what he said, and it's still going to be bad. He was basically like, there's a reason Hitler didn't like them.
Ooh, no, never say that again on stream, Justin.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. That is a very bad thing he said, and I severely toned it down because what he actually said was way worse.
Oh, Justin. What are you doing, Justin?
I didn't say it.
No, but you said it out loud. And
Roald Dahl said it.
Now it can be cut and clipped and made to be used for something out of context.
Roald Dahl said it. I didn't say it. He wrote the bad stereotypes into the bad no good movies that Justin didn't like. I didn't say it.
Do you have anything else to say about The Witches?
No, it's bad, upsetting movie. Bad, boring, upsetting movie. Oh, no, it's not. Also, I will say the puppetry on the mice when they're mice is honestly kind of good. There we go. It's a real fat compliment sandwich where all the bad... It's like, compliment.
So, it's hard to talk about 1991 and not mention this next one. It's one that I've watched a few dozen times. 1991 version of Hook. With Robin Williams and the rest. And it's a telling of Peter Pan, basically. Peter Pan grows up, his children get taken, he has to go and rescue them from Hook. Never Never Land, man loses his marble. We've all seen it. We all know it. We all love it. And if you don't, shut up and say you do.
I mean, everyone's having a lot of fun making it. Dustin Hoffman is having a great time. Jordan pointed out that, who plays Smee? His name is escaping me. Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins is in this movie as Smee. I had no idea. It blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, I never noticed that before. That is totally Bob Hoskins.
He's absolutely Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, he's having a blast. He gets totally lost in that character.
I was just reading about
Dame Maggie Smith is in it.
Yes. So there's also a few um blah, blah, blah. It has a star-studded cast, obviously, but apart from that, like you know, Rufio is
Dante Bosco.
yeah, Dante Bosco, and he was like 15 or 17 or something at the time.
Dante Bosco.
But it's also got um other famous people are sprinkled in as uncredited, both brief credited and uncredited cameos. Um, Musicians David Crosby and Jimmy Buffett, actress Glenn Close, and former boxer Tony Burton appear as members of Hook's Pirates crew. Star Wars creator George Lucas and actress Carrie Fisher play the kissing couple sprinkled with pixie dust.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Two of Hoffman's children, Jacob and Rebecca, both under 10 years old during filming, briefly appear in scenes in the normal world. And screenwriter Jim Hart's 11-year-old son, Jake, who years earlier inspired his father with the question, what if Peter Pan grew up, plays one of Peter's lost boys.
Oh, neat. Neat. It would become Robin Williams and turn into kind of a dick.
Apparently, this started off as a Steven Spielberg pick.
Wait, is it? Didn't Steven Spielberg direct it?
Sorry. Steven Spielberg found a close personal connection. Yada yada yada. Trouble with apparently, the troubled relationship between Peter Banning and his son is reflective of his relationship with his own father.
Yeah, it's directed by Steven Spielberg.
I thought I read that he ended up not doing it.
No, you directed it very famously.
Sorry. Oh, here's what I read, which I guess is what confused me. The project was taken to Paramount Pictures, where James V. Hart wrote the first script with Dustin Hoffman already casted as Captain Hook.
Oh.
So he wasn't the only one who wrote it, as I guess what I'm reading.
Oh no, he didn't write it. He directed it.
Well, he started off. The idea came from him, though. Is my point. It is my point.
Oh, I see. I understand. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Apparently, many fans thought Tom Hanks was Spielberg's original choice for the role of Peter Pan, and Hanks has debunked that rumor.
Oh, I mean, Tom Hanks would have. This role is not exclusively. I don't think it would. It could have lived with another.
I think it could have been. It could have led with another actor, but it would have been a very different movie.
Oh, for sure.
Robin Williams has a very particular. He brings energy. He brings. Also,
I think this could have been similar with Tom Hanks, though. I don't think much would have changed with Tom Hanks.
I don't know. Tom Hanks has less of that zany energy.
Yeah, but he has demonstrated that he can do it. It's 91.
We'll never know.
It's 91. He's bringing that big energy.
But I think I did learn is there were several Hook video games.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on, let me bring up that Wikipedia. There have been several Hook video games based on the 1991 film Hook, a side-scrolling platform game for the Nintendo Entertainment System and Game Boy. Side-scrolling platform games were released for the Commodore 64 and Super Nintendo Entertainment System. An arcade beat-em-up from Irem later in 1992.
Wait, stop. Arcade beat-em-up?
Yes, that's what it says.
For Hook?
Followed by versions for the Sega CD, Sega Genesis.
So do you play as the Robin Williams Peter Pan and you beat up pirates?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay, you keep talking. I'm Googling this.
Also, there's a graphic adventure point-and-click game developed and published by Ocean Software, which was released for the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS
That
in
pretty yeah.
'92.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to see.
Each version of the game, the player plays as Peter Pan, who must go through Neverland to rescue his children after they are kidnapped by Captain Hook. Each version of the game is set in Neverland and concludes with a sword fight between Peter Pan and Captain Hook.
I don't-
Arcade version. The arcade version is a...
Jordan.
I can't really see it. Yeah, no, it doesn't really look like anything to me.
My screen does.
Arcade version is a side-scrolling beat-em-up that support... Yeah, but you have to remember, I'm looking at it on a phone. You're looking at it on the computer.
That is true. That is true.
Side-scrolling beat-em-up that supports up to 4 players. The player chooses to play as either Peter Pan or one of the Lost Boys, Ace, Pockets, Rufio, or Thudbutt. Game is played across 6 stages.
What? All right then. Okay. Fascinating.
Apparently, it was like their like IREM's other arcade games, like Kung Fu Master, known as Spartan X in Japan, and the R-Type series. Fascinating.
That's funny. That's very funny.
That's Hook.
That's Hook. Oh, Hook. Hook.
Now,
Hook.
now I think it's time we get off the hook and we start doing our have not scenes.
Do you feel good about that?
I feel pretty fucking
Do you
fantastic.
feel good? Feel good that you did that? Make you feel big?
I don't know. I don't not feel good.
So, Jordan, it's time to do the have not scenes. Jordan, do the have not seen dance.
That's
That's enough. That's enough. It's too much. It's too much. There was no have not seen dance. I just made that up. I made that up.
I mean, there was one now because we did it.
We
and
did it.
I made it up. I'm the one who did it.
I'm the one who wears the cape. I make the
fucking wishing sounds.
So it's time for have not seen. My first have not seen is a movie from 1990. It's a B horror / comedy movie called Tremors, and it stars another movie same year. It stars a young Kevin Bacon, who is a repairman guy who's living in a small town. Who, along with his partners, they want to get out of town, but there's a seismologist there, and it turns out that there's big worms, Jordan. There's real big worms, and the big worms they're in the dirt. If you stand on the dirt, the big worm will send out snake things, so the snake thing will try to pull you into the dirt, so then it can eat you. And then they gotta kill the big worms. That's the plot.
Okay.
That's the plot of it. And
How big are the worms?
Gigantic. And it turns out they
like man size
yeah.
like building size.
Man size. It can't really eat a building. It can eat a car. At one point, it's a car. And it's like anytime you step on the dirt, it feels the vibrations. So, and they're smart. So, like when you're on buildings or on top of cars, it can't see where you are, but it knows you're there. And eventually, it works out to like destroy the building to get at them, to knock them over. And like some of the puppetry effects are kind of cool. There's an effect they do with a building that they make a building collapse with all the guys on it that looks cool. The effects look cool. It's also funny, but also the movie is kind of it makes the movie tonally inconsistent. Where like there's moments where they're trying to be serious, but then like they do a silly, goofy moment complete with silly, goofy music cue, where it's like this feels the wrong moment to be doing this kind of humor. It's just a real B movie. A lot of B movie acting. It's pretty fun. It's well received. I was surprised by how well received it was.
So, I have a side question tangent. What makes a B movie a B movie? And are there C movies or D movies?
Yeah, there's D movies. Yeah,
or like Z movies.
A B movie would be like, no, I think a D movie, well, I mean, it's B movies are like cheap, don't really have a budget, because that's where they come budget movies. So this thing had no budget, although it has Reba McEntire in it, And then she has a song in the ending credits. So I don't know if it is indeed all of the Wikipedia articles I pulled all described it as a B movie, and it also has like 50 billion sequels.
So like if a person were to use, and I'm not just taking the piss out of you here, I'm genuinely curious. If a person were to use like their phone to record an entire movie, is that a Z movie?
A B movie? Yeah, theoretically, yeah.
A G or an H or a K movie?
I don't think those exist. I think it's just B movie or D. Oh, no, I think I'm thinking of the list. Like there's the D list. I'm pretty sure. No, B movies. I think are just budget movies. I think that's where the term comes from.
That makes way too much sense. Okay, yeah, that checks out.
Like low budget movies. I think is where the term. But I could be wrong on that. I'm just doing that off the top. I'm pulling that. I could be completely pulling that out of my ass. But usually they're like Godzilla movies are usually considered B movies. Because they're like low budget affairs.
Got it.
And then I think like an independent movie is a movie not made by a studio.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But yeah, there's some pretty gnarly deaths. There's some characters who die who you're like, oh, they don't really deserve that. That sucks. It has a weirdly happy ending where you're like, man, 5 people just died, and you're like, you should go get together with the girl, and I'm like, this doesn't really feel like the moment. It doesn't really feel like the time. And it's one of those movies where you're like, zoologically, you're like, oh yeah, all these guys survived getting killed by these creatures, but zoologically, you're like, oh, it's a real travesty that these creatures who we've never seen, have no idea what they are and have now just been blown to smithereens. It's a real shame. It would have been nice to study them, figure out what they are and where they came from. Oh well, that's not going to happen now. Well, maybe it happens, and apparently there's like 5 sequels and like 1 prequel, and as we've often said on this show, I have no idea how that's possible.
Yeah, where they're pulling these stories
right,
from.
All the creatures are dead. I don't know what more they're gonna fight more creatures. I guess maybe to find out the origins of the creatures. I literally have no idea how you could do 1 sequel, let alone like 5.
Fair. I understand.
I have no clue. Did I mention Reba's in it?
You did.
Reba's in it. That's and is there anyone? Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon's in it, and it's all right. Oh, it's the '90s, so everyone smokes.
It's got the bacon.
It's got the bacon. 6 degrees of bacon. And also, it's the '90s, so there's really long shots of people lighting up a cigarette and smoking. Like, it's the 1990s. Yeah, I thought it was all right. It didn't really do much for me.
I understand.
What's your first have not seen?
So my first have not seen. Have you ever picked a movie just because you recognize the name, but you never actually really realized what it was?
I'm sure, yes, but go on.
That's what I did, Justin. I picked The Silence of the Lambs.
Movie.
For those who know, it's a Hannibal Lecter movie. Now, when I picked it, I didn't realize that. I just recognized the name The Silence of the Lambs as like a famous one.
Yeah.
Like a big one.
Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster.
Sorry. Another version of the truth says, as a kid, Tremors was the shit.
I imagine, yeah, if you're a kid watching it, I imagine it's one of those movies that I would love if I grew up watching it. It gives me that vibe. It's one of those movies I appreciate because it's a real good B movie monster schlock affair. It's all right. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out.
Sorry. As I'm reading the username, another version of the truth, all that's coming to my head right now is the truth. You can't handle the truth. But Silence of the Lambs. Basically, Cold Notes version. Young FBI trainee is hunting a serial killer named Buffalo Bill, who I don't want to get into the gruesome details of what he does, but he is not a good person.
He likes to tuck his wang between his legs and sing a song.
Oh. Another version of the truth says it's very nostalgic for me now. Also, this is Ali, and it won't let me comment as literature, which that's weird, and we'll have to look into why that might be.
That is very strange.
if that's something on our end, which I don't know why it would be, but
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
um, um, but hello, Allie. Distracting. Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, I don't want to go into the gruesome details of what he does, but
He likes to tuck his junk between his legs. And
no, that I more meant the violent part.
he likes to wear ladies.
Yeah. See, I said I didn't want to say it.
I didn't say all of it.
Anyways, they go to she seeks the advice of Hannibal Lecter, who's brilliant psychiatrist, cannibalistic serial killer, who is a deeply, very, very good performance by the person who's playing him, Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins,
Yeah,
because he
he's
is
creepy.
so creepy and unsettling, and it's a phenomenal performance. This movie had a budget of 19 million and it had a box office of 272.7 million, and I understand why. It's a very well made movie, and what it's trying to do, it does well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Jodie Foster is also really good. I mean, the guy, yeah, he's
absolutely.
unsettling. Buffalo Bill is creep. Fun fact about Family Guy: if you watch Family Guy, uh, um, Chris Griffin's voice began its life as a Buffalo Bill impression.
Really?
Yeah, which is why
Interesting.
here's $5. Spit on me. I want to take you away from this. I want. That's where. Would you fuck me? I'd
fuck me.
Yeah, I'd fuck me so
Um,
hard. Oh, I get that reference
the-
now.
The scene that South Park is making fun of, it puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. You said that it wasn't anything like that. I disagree. That scene is pretty much a 1-to-1 parody of
No, I said the line is not correct. He doesn't say it takes the lotion or puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. He never says that.
No, but he does say he takes the lotion, it takes the lotion out of the
Yeah.
basket and puts it on.
No,
Like
but
it's all
no, but
well
I'm-
said. He says
What I'm saying is everyone thinks the line is it puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. That's not the line.
it's slightly different.
Yeah, it's different. Everyone it's one of those
It's slightly different.
it's one of those anachronisms that everyone gets, like in movies and television stuff, everyone gets wrong. It's like, no,
It's a Darth Vader, no, I'm your father
yeah,
situation.
exactly, where everyone thinks the line, it's one of those incorrect things that everyone thinks the line is it puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. And it's not, that's not the line. But he does say, put the lotion in the fucking basket!
Yeah, but there's the one scene where I'm like, this really just shows the difference between the 90s and like where people's heads are at now. Is there's the one lady who she sees what's his code name? I had it here, Buffalo Bill. She sees what is Buffalo Bill, or what ends up being Buffalo Bill, trying to load something into his van, and like he's pretending to be this invalid who can't do it, and she goes to this young lady goes to help him and like lifts it in and stuff, and he's like, just get into the van and just scooch it all the way back there.
2024 me is like,
nope.
nope.
Why would you do that? Don't climb into a strange man's van that you don't know, and then it inevitably ends up badly for her. But no, don't.
No.
My red alarm was screaming like bad, no.
Absolutely, do not do that.
But yeah, this movie is good. It didn't pass the phone test though.
No, but it's one of those ones though where you could. I enjoy it because it's one of those ones I can do both because it's just that captivating.
Yeah.
You're like, I can be on something temporarily and like look away for a second, and it's just
depends on the movie. This is definitely one of them. But this is adapted from a novel, a 1988 novel.
Mm-hmm. He's been he ends up in a few movies. There's another one called, I almost watched it because I just like Anthony Hopkins as this character that much, but it's called Red Dragon. It's apparently also quite good.
The way they end this one, from what I remember anyway, it could definitely have led to a sequel.
I cannot remember if this is the first book. This might be based on the second or third book.
Because Hannibal Lecter at the end of it is still like on the loose, as it were.
Now you get to
Like
be like,
they don't capture him by the end.
now when you see Donald Trump being like, yeah, Hannibal Lecter was a great guy, you could be like, Hannibal Lecter is fictional. He said he was gonna have that guy for dinner. It was so funny. He was gonna go murder that guy. That's what he was gonna go do.
So this is the way that it ends. At the FBI Academy graduation party, Starling receives a phone call from Lecter, who is in the Bahamas at a
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go have my dear friend for dinner.
He assures her that he has no intention of pursuing her and requests that she return the favor, which she says she cannot. He hangs up, stating that he's having an old friend for dinner.
Having an old friend for dinner.
As he trails a newly arrived Chilton into the crowd.
Yep. To be fair, Chilton was a prick. He probably deserves to get Hannibal Lecter.
I mean, that's in the sequel. I don't think there was a sequel, but there could have been.
There's a prequel. I know. I'm pretty sure.
But a prequel, Justin, is not a sequel.
I don't know if they've done a sequel. I know that Anthony Hopkins played this character in a bunch more movies, but I don't know if there were sequels or prequels.
But yeah, it's a good movie. Fucked up, pretty fucked up, Justin.
Pretty fucked up indeed, Jordan. I watched a little movie. That's it. My final one of the afternoon, Jordan, is a movie called, and here's the spur of the moment promise, Justin Spurr promise, declaration. I've always said I don't care for zombies, just as a narrative device. There's never really, I mean, other than The Last of Us, like, I don't care for The Walking Dead. I mostly find stories involving zombies to be boring because it's a lot of, like, characters waiting around for something to happen, and, like, 9 times out of 10
Sorry, Justin. Real quick. Ali says, I just remember in the one movie he pulls the guy's scalp off.
Fair. That's fair.
Which sounds pretty on brand for him.
That sounds about on brand for Hannibal Lecter. So yeah, zombies don't do anything for me. I don't care for The Walking Dead. The only zombie thing I ever really liked that had zombies in it was The Last of Us, and that's kind of it. I usually find them boring and slow. So I wanted to watch.
For me, zombies can be very hit or miss. Like I like what was it? 2 weeks later.
1 week later. 28 days later.
28 days later. Yeah, I like that one. I thought that one's enjoyable. But sometimes zombies can be very boring. It really depends. It's very hit or miss for me.
So I saw this, and I know that Night of the Living Dead is one of the most iconic zombie movies of all time. So I was like, wow, and I know George Romero's version is very, very iconic.
Okay, that's good to know. Apparently, there are 5 Hannibal Lecter movies.
Oh, I did not know that. Do they all have Anthony Hopkins in them? Let's let her catch up to that question.
Or are there just different interpretations by different actors?
Well, I know that there's a show where it's not Anthony Hopkins, but I'd be curious to know how many. I know that he's in more than one. Anyway, so I wanted to watch this one to see if I could find a zombie thing I actually liked, and this one's interesting. So the interesting thing about Night of the Living Dead is that when they made it, they didn't fill out a copyright, so it immediately went into the public domain.
Oh, really?
So there's like a bunch of remakes of it. Like, it's apparently the most remade movie of all time.
She says she thinks 4 of them do.
Oh, well, interesting. Yeah, so this is the most so this movie is the only true remake, and it's interesting. It's not directed by George Romero, the guy who made the first one, but it is written by him. It is written by the guy who wrote and directed the original Night of the Living Dead, which kind of gave me a question of, are remakes okay if they're made by the same guy? Like, if the same person's like, I want to redo my thing and take another crack at it, are they okay then?
Sorry, I was reading a response. She said, sorry, he was in 3 of them. The 4th one looks like a young Hannibal Lecter, so he's a young actor.
Gotcha.
Sorry, repeat your question.
So are remakes okay if they're being remade by the same guy?
Um, I think it depends on a few things. If you made the first one last year and now you're trying to reboot the entire thing, I have a little bit of an issue with that because I don't. That feels too soon. I think enough time has to pass.
Interesting.
So, like, for example, if the Zemeckis brothers, is it brothers, the guys who made Back to the Future,
Yeah.
if they came back today and were like, we want to redo the first one, I would maybe be okay with it because it's been so long.
Interesting. So that's kind of what happened with this, where contemporarily this came out, and it's very similar to the original, and people were like, what we are like now, their critics were like, what's the point? It's the same movie, literally. It's pretty much the same movie. What's the point? And then critics now are approaching it with a different eye, where they're like, well, it's a different take on the material, and it's a this, and they're more forgiving of it. Removed from it. So that's why I'm like, I think you're right. I think it depends on the amount of time that separates it from the original.
I think it depends on how long it's been, and this is gonna sound funny, how bad the original was.
Yeah, I saw that meme where it's like, why don't we remake bad movies?
Yeah, like if it was really good, then no, nothing you do is gonna. It's not. You're just gonna have a less good version of the thing that was already good the first time. If you're redoing something that was bad, that feels like a second shot at a good idea.
But I will say I did enjoy this movie. That's the long way of me saying that I did enjoy it. I was surprised by how much I liked it because a great portion of it is basically this movie is very easy to summarize. Because it's one of the things I appreciate. The pacing is really, really good. It jumps like right into it. Like within the first 4 minutes, there's a zombie. She's being chased by a zombie, and she's being like the zombies are there, and the zombies are a threat. It doesn't do like the modern movie thing of like the first 15 minutes of the movie are we get to know the characters, and it's really slow and meandering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a comment?
No, sorry, I'm reading a Wikipedia about my Father of the Bride.
Oh, you're getting prepared. You're getting prepared. I understand. Okay, I shall continue then. Yeah. It doesn't. It's an hour and a half. There's not a lot of fat. It gets like right into it, and then it just sort of becomes this. Basically, it starts off with this woman and her brother. They go they're at this graveyard and they get attacked by a zombie, and the brother dies. And she backs her car into a tree, and winds up getting stuck at this house with 6 other people, a man, a wife, and her kid, Tony Todd, a black guy, a couple, a young couple, whose uncle is the one who owned the house because they run into him. He's already a zombie. And it's basically they're holed up in this house, and it's them getting along. Initially, you think it's just the black guy and the girl, and you discover that the other 4 people, 5 people, whatever, are all in the basement, all in the cellar, and they immediately start squabbling, and the zombies are like slowly closing in on them, and they sort of come upon a plan of I guess in the backyard. The uncle has a gas thing, but that it's locked up. So they figure that if they run out for it, they can fill up the truck real quick and then they can take off because these are slow-moving zombies. And the thing that's frustrating about this movie is basically it's a tragedy as slowly like everything just goes wrong. So they get to the gas tank and it turns out that the keys that they found are the wrong keys. They don't work. So he tries to shoot the lock off and he ends up blowing himself and the girlfriend up and they kill themselves. And the daughter who's been sick the whole movie, you find out that she's been infected, so she turns into a zombie and she kills the mother. And the dad who's been this insufferable jerk the whole movie, he in a shootout with the black guy trying to protect the daughter shoots the black guy twice and kills him. And then the woman who had the brother from the beginning, she goes off into town and she runs into a bunch of local guys who are basically like hunting zombies for fun. like they're laughing and cheering and like applauding each other on as they like kill zombies and like toss them on a fire. And she is effectively like, yeah, we're no different from the zombies, basically. It was like, oh, the first opportunity we just killed each other because we could, and we took sport in it. Like, it's kind of fucked up.
We devolved to our base instinct.
Yeah, and so she goes back to the house, and the guy who she developed an affinity for, he's now a zombie, so she kills him, and it turns out that the dad, whatever, he's still alive, so she kills him and just kind of moves on with her life. And ironically, you find out that the black guy, the entire movie, he's been like avoiding going into the cellar because he's like, oh, the one guy's like, oh, we should go into the cellar and barricade ourselves in. And the black guy says very fairly, well, if we do that, then we'll box ourselves in and there's no escape. Like, if they all consume us, we won't be able to get out. And so he refuses to go into the basement. And it turns out that the key for this gas has been in the cellar the whole time.
Interesting.
So it's just like, if they just worked together, and the entire movie is them fighting and squabbling with each other. And if they had just, it's a lot of a movie where if they had just been like rational, they could have gotten out of this, like, because they're not fast zombies. They're like slow moving zombies that like at a certain point, she just kind of steps out of their way. Like at the end of the movie, she's got the gun and she just puts the gun against it and just kind of gently pushes it out of the way. And it's like, if they had just worked together and like they could have, when
then
there was
everyone
like,
could have survived.
right. It's like, it's one of those, it's the kind of zombies where like, when there's a bunch of them, yeah, okay, they're kind of overpowering. But when there's one of them, there's 7 of them, they could have easily overpowered it. It's like a lot of the movie is people who are like, if you just remained rational and like the girl at one point just won't stop screaming. And it's like, if you just stop screaming and like approach this situation rationally, all of you would have been fine. And it's hard to tell if that's the point or not. Or if that's just incidental of me being like, I exist outside of this scenario. If I were in this scenario, would I think as rationally as I am now? It's hard to say.
I like to think that we would.
Right, because it's just dumb. Like, they're not fast. Like, they're easy to walk around. And they're slowly, like, encroaching them, right? So it's like just...
Like, typically the way that zombie movies get around them being slow is you make it so that they have, like, super strength. They're super strong. So, because, like, otherwise, yeah, you could just, like, build a bubble, like a barrier thing around you that they can't get through.
Right, well, yeah, it's like initially only like 2 or 3 of them show up and they all have pretty powerful guns. So it's just like shoot and they pretty early on discover like the black guy shows up and he already knows like everything about the zombies and he has a bunch of information it doesn't really seem like he should have. But he already comes built in with the knowledge that you just have to shoot them in the head. And they try to do the thing where it's like, oh, they're still human. But it's really apparent that they're not. But
they're falling apart.
Yeah, they're pretty shambly. Like, the makeup effects are genuinely really good. Like, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this more than I was expecting to. And I had way more to say about it than I thought I was going to.
That's always nice.
Yeah, maybe the second zombie thing I've ever actually liked. And it does make me... I would like to watch... for an episode in the future where we're going to bring back Pick a Director, and I'm probably going to do Zack Snyder. Because he has a version of this. Called Dawn of the Dead.
Interesting.
That apparently is good, that I would like to watch. But that's it. That's Day of the Dead. It's alright. It's pretty good. I appreciate, again, I've discovered I appreciate nice, tight, well-paced movies that aren't, like, don't overstay their welcome, and this doesn't. This doesn't overstay its welcome. Considering, and it's really, really interesting considering 90%, an hour and 4 minutes of it take place in one location. And that speaks to, like, the good character work and performances from the characters. Although, some of the characters say some nonsensical things, I will say that. But I enjoyed it. Anyway, that's Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead? Night of the Living Dead. That was Night of the Living Dead. That's my last have not seen, I should say.
So my last have not seen. So have you ever watched Father of the Bride?
I have not. I am familiar with it. I know that you mentioned the sequel. I know what the sequel's about.
Yeah, I don't really see how this could have a sequel. I actually was gonna read about that, and then you called me out on the fact that I was reading Wikipedia and not paying attention. So I was like, I should not do that. Um, but Father of the Bride. So every now and then, I watch a movie where it's like I feel like I'm supposed to agree with the rest of the family and act like the dad is the crazy one,
He's the problem?
but I just am I the asshole? I kind of just agree with the dad with a lot of what he's saying in this movie. So his daughter goes off to college in Europe for an undisclosed amount of time, but knowing how college programs work, it's got to be at least 2 years.
I imagine, yeah.
Um, like even if she comes home for visits and stuff, she's going off to college, and so she comes back because she's done with college, and she's like, yeah, so when I was at college, I met and fell in love with this guy that I've known for 3 months and have rapidly gotten engaged to, and I'm now gonna come home and drop this on your door, like on your doorstep. He's gonna be here in an hour. Prepare yourself. If you are mean to him, I'm gonna hate you forever. Um, and like the dad obviously has concerns. Like, who is this guy that we've never once met? How much older is he than you? Because she's 22, and we find out that he's 20, like that he's 26.
Right, right.
So guy that's older than you that you've known for 3 months, you want to suddenly marry, and we've never met him, and you don't seem to understand that that's a concerning thing as a parent to hear. I'm not a parent, and I imagine that would be concerning for me.
I certainly would have
Um,
questions. I feel like I'd have questions. I can't deny that I'd have
like,
questions.
so of course the dad asked the logical questions, like, what does he do for work? Um, like, how did you meet him? Et cetera, stuff like that. And so over the course of the movie,
Very
it's the
reasonable
dad.
questions.
I think
You
so.
know, all of the
And
reasonable
so
ones.
and so over the course of the movie, it's the dad kind of coming to grips with it and everything. And I'm like, but I don't think that he was in the wrong. And like there's a point where like he's going crazy about it, and his wife is talking to him like he's being this unaccepting douchebag, and I almost want to be like, honey, our daughter came and dropped this really expensive party on us. It didn't ask us if we were okay paying for it, by the way, just sort of expected it.
Right?
Um, with this guy that we've never met. That's the thing for me. That's the sticking point. The entire crux that I get hung up on for this movie is she drops it on them when she's only known this guy for 3 months and they haven't met him once.
I mean,
Maybe and this yes I like this is in 91. So like maybe I'm old fashioned in that regard. Maybe this was considered old fashioned even by that time
it's
period.
certainly possible.
But like you start dating a guy and before you do engagement, you at least bring him over for dinner.
I mean,
If
Jordan,
especially because
Jordan, it could be that
especially
you're just old-fashioned. Even in 1991, you're just old-fashioned, Jordan.
especially because like it's not like this movie portrays that her and her dad have a strained relationship. They portray it like she's close with her family.
True.
She communicates with them. She gets along
Jordan,
with
this
them
is
well.
before Zoom, okay? They couldn't just,
And
like, get on a video chat and...
no, sure, but they have video, like they have telephones.
I
You don't
mean,
mention once that you've started seeing someone,
this is true. This is true.
and then you show up, and when like you're coming home from college and they're expecting to just see you and visit with you, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a fiance who you're gonna meet in an hour. Fuck y'all. Like, and so then the rest of the movie is them planning it over the next like 5 months. Which, as an aside, yeah, Dad, this guy that I've met. So by the time they get married, she's known him for all of 8 months. Like that just seems like a really fast time to get married.
Hey.
And don't get me started on the wedding planner who drove me fucking crazy. I'm sorry. I don't care if your chef is turning up his nose at the fact that I want to pay for the cheaper chicken. We're gonna go with the fucking chicken. I'm paying over $1,000 for the goddamn wedding cake. For a wedding that was dropped on my lap.
So you feel very passionately about Father of the Bride, Jordan. Also,
I'm sorry, but
I'm pretty sure there's 2 sequels to this.
I only see one.
I could have sworn there was a third one.
I see there's a Father of the Bride Part 2.
There is, yeah. Wanna know what it's about?
Also as an interesting note, um, Kimberly Williams, who I'm pretty sure is the daughter, this is her film debut.
Oh, wait, that's I recognize the name. That's nope, not coming to me. I recognize the name though.
Kimberly Williams. She's best known for her starring role in 10th Kingdom. She's been on According to Jim and was on Nashville.
Oh, it's not who I'm thinking of.
She was she guest starred on TV shows, including Tales from the Crypt, George Lopez and Less Than Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was there anything else? She was in Identity Theft.
No, no, all right.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, the road chip.
Okay.
She was Samantha.
I don't know who that is.
She was in the Christmas Chronicles.
Was she?
Yeah, she's Claire Pierce.
I don't know who that is, and I've seen that movie.
Oh, and apparently, the thing that you're thinking of, Father of the Bride Part 3-ish, is a short film.
Ah.
So that's probably what you're thinking of. And she was on 2.5 Men.
That's all right.
She was Gretchen. Oh, and apparently she was on The Flash in two episodes. She was Renee Adler.
Okay.
And she was on Witness to Murder.
Okay, you don't have to keep saying it.
And I'm just gonna keep reading until I read her entire.
We don't need to read her whole.
filmography.
We don't need to read her whole filmography.
Yeah, it's just the fact that like, it's why. No, the dad is not being in. Like, yes, there's parts where he's a little over the top. Absolutely, he goes crazy for the sake of a movie. But like the main like thrum of it, I don't think he's the unreasonable one.
Hashtag I'm on Steve Martin's side.
Like and again, audience, let me know. Maybe I'm the crazy one, but like I got to the end of this movie and I was just like, am I the asshole? Like.
The movie would have you believe so.
I like maybe I'm just a cynic who doesn't like who is but like I'm looking at this marriage of a couple that's known each other for 8 months, which has a 22-year-old, which as far as I'm concerned is a kid, and I'm just like, marriage is I've never been married. But if there's one thing I've learned from people that I know, marriage is hard and it's a lot of work. And when you're that young, I just don't believe that you have the maturity to make it work.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Also, the fact that like she's moving out and she's like, I couldn't get rid of all my things that I had when I was growing up, toys and stuff. So I packed them as well. And I'm just like, I mean, don't get rid of that stuff. Keep it in your attic so you can look back on it one day and share it with your children.
Exactly.
Like, just because you're moving out of your parents' house doesn't mean you have to give up everything that you ever had. Like, also the idea, the fact that so the guy that she ends up marrying, like his family is rich. Like that's kind of a big thing. And so not only does the dad have to like plan this wedding and send pay for like to redesign his house so he can host the wedding and pay for just the expensive cake and just a bunch of shit, but he is also expected to pay for the plane tickets to fly the groom's family out from like Denmark or something like that. And I'm just like, why the fuck does he have to pay? If anything, the groom's family should be flying his own family out. They're rich.
Fuck that.
It was a lot of scenes where I was just like, this feels unreasonable.
Right? I feel like I'm going insane.
Maybe I just don't understand what planning a wedding is like.
Someone out there like,
But
Jordan,
it
you just
just
don't understand weddings. I'm gonna be like, all right, I guess I don't.
it just feels unreasonable.
I don't disagree.
But what do I know?
What
But
do you
that's
know?
Father of the Bride.
That's Father of the
What
Bride.
one that I put on kind of like I was just looking for a thing to pad out time. I wasn't expected to get quite this heated about it.
Yeah, very heated about Father of the Bride. That's it. Those were the years we were born. The year of 1990 and 1991. This was very difficult. We will not be doing it again.
Certainly not for a while.
Not next year. Next year was something different. But next week, I mean, all things seem to be a go. Next week we're gonna be doing the assignment for next week is we're gonna be doing book to movie adaptations, and we shall be asking the question: are they good book to movie adaptation? Do they be bad book to movie adaptations? How much are we gonna be shitting on Harry Potter? We're gonna be shitting on Harry Potter a lot. It's just, but
At least a few of them.
but as it stands right now, we will have a new friend to the show. Dropping by unless something comes up in the next week, but they should be dropping on by. Looking forward to that. That's gonna be a good time. Come by, check that out. In the comments, leave some what's the movie from the year you were born, and let us know. What book to movie adaptation should we maybe check out? Do you think? That's it. That's next week.
What years should we maybe tackle for future ones?
Yeah. I like to go back to the 80s and 70s, I think, for a week. But that's coming in the future. Jordan, where can the people find you?
I do Minecraft Mondays, Zethcore187, on Twitch. Feel free to come hang out. If you ask for the tour, be aware that it's probably going to take at least an hour.
It's an hour long tour. It's a 3-hour tour.
It's a long tour. But that's and then the rest of the time I do this. I'm here.
He does this. I'm on TikTok.
Do machines.
I will be on TikTok until the party stops. The show's on TikTok. We put clips on there. You can, if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to be in that sponsorship section, pay for us to do this. We'd appreciate it. That's in the email. It's justinsbusiness at gmail.com. You can, when I can get the link to work, join the Discord. Maybe you want to be on the show, come join the Discord. Once again, if you want to be on the show, I have a handy Google form you can fill out. Am I missing anything else? artemedia.org, check those guys out. I think that's it. I think that's all. That's the end of the show. We shall see you next week, everyone.